going to be a lot of calls you're going to be getting because Zoom is like, man, it's like everybody is using it these days. So especially now, like every single company that I come across is that we're using Zoom, you know?
Yeah, I got a call from so you know how you have like you know how you have like multiple, I guess, CEOs. I had a call from one of our CEOs. There's like different partners. So he called me and he's like, "Can you set up the plugin for me?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Can you set it up on my phone too?" I'm like, "Yes." I had to walk him through, do it on his phone, and it's actually SSO. So I had to
Mm.
walk him through putting the domain and his username and then his password, just like when we talked about yesterday in that other video. Exactly the same thing. So. Yeah.
Mhm. I see. All right. So, guys, we are live right now on YouTube as well. So, people who are watching us, this is going to be a very chill type of, um, uh, a video. We're going to basically ask questions from each other and things like that. So, let me first make sure I do one thing. I'm gonna do one thing to tell my one of my there you go. So I'm gonna probably just mute this because I'm. So, okay, can you guys hear me clearly now? KevTech and everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we were actually testing some of the things and we did something a little different today. So what we have today is my brother. He's also a operation manager in a company. So he will be also talking with us. And also we have KevTech, and I'll be basically doing a lab today with creating an Active Directory inside the Azure, which is the cloud-based infrastructure. So he will be also talking with us. Kev, do you want to take over? Let me configure this stuff right here. I'm having a lot of echo here.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, so I'm gonna go over. Let me know when you're ready. So what happened to me today was, when you work. So if you do a good job in IT, and Donish could agree with me on this, if you do a really really good job in IT, it's good and bad. It's good because you do a good job in IT, but it's bad because then people get used to you, so they start calling you on the weekend. So I had people call me on the weekend when we had a couple of IT issues. Like today, someone called me and they don't want to call IT support. They don't want to call help desk. They just want to jump over to me because they know I take care of the issue. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad because then you're trying to rest on the weekend and then people just want to call you randomly. They assume that you're not doing anything. So
Yeah.
that happens.
So what happened was that I actually turned on my web browser. I turned on my YouTube. So I was like, "Where's this second sound coming from?" And I was like, "What the? It's taking me going me like I'm going crazy right now. Or what?" So I'm looking at the tabs, and I said, "Oh, there's actually two." So this is what happens when you try to go live, and when you're trying to see if your live session is working, you forget sometimes, right? So that's what I did. I forgot my browser, and I'm not trying to figure out where's the second sound coming from. So there you go. But again, I agree with you. There's going to be a lot of issues these days, especially when people are working remotely, and there's going to be calls coming to you in a ticketing system where people may just expect you to work. But some companies are very strong about this kind of stuff because sometimes they have, this is a culture too. So if your company, like CEOs or higher ups, or kind of like used to sending you messages directly, and this is kind of like a normal trend, that's fine. But some companies may have a very strong culture about after 5 o'clock, don't send a message to help desk. Now, if there is an issue, what usually they do is there's like a backup company that is taking care of those type of calls. That's what I talked about. The MSPs, you basically send them tickets and then they take care of that kind of stuff. So it depends on the company, by the way. But again, sometimes you just, because for a customer service and they love working with you, it's a nature thing too. Like you really want to be helping your people because you're so close to them. And sometimes you just cannot get away from that, right? And they also know that they're not going to send you like very tiny things. I'm sure they're having some kind of critical issues, or they want to get into some kind of meetings that is on the weekend that they have to attend. And that's where you got to do that extra step for your company. And that's what they say. You're going to be, as an IT person, we're not just hiring you for 9 to 5. You probably will be available sometimes at weekends too, right? Most of the jobs ask you that, right? In the interviews, hey, what if we have some kind of issue going on? Would you be available, after hours kind of thing? So you always want to give that availability out there, right?
In my current job, actually, I'm under evaluation right now, so I'm trying to do as much as I possibly can to make everyone happy. Actually, so I'm under evaluation right now. I have my evaluation in the next week or two.
So Leila, welcome in. Numan, can you hear me? Numan is an operation manager in a nonprofit. I'm not gonna say which nonprofit on the live, but can you hear me, Numan?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you well.
Yep.
So Numan, before I start my live session on my just a demo and stuff like that, you are operation manager, and what kind of issues are you guys are facing, and how many users do you guys have, and what kind of setup do you actually have, without saying your nonprofit name?
So we are facing a lot of issues, I think, and I would admit that we were not prepared for such kind of remote work. We do have some employees that work remotely, but then again, uh, there was no such preparation. So it was a big task in terms of a lot of things. So we have 30 users, and we had to set up VPN, and I'm sure you guys know more than me about VPN and all that.
Yeah.
So we haven't still as yet we haven't been able to give VPN access to all the users. That was one thing, and then also we have so when the building is closed, someone has to take the mail and scan the mail, and basically, so we had mail issues we had to deal with. So we had to work with IT for that too, creating
Now,
folders.
was this a local IT do you have, or what? Because it seems like maybe you guys didn't have any remote type of setup already, and maybe this nonprofit is very much into like come to work, right? Is this
Exactly. So our environment is as such that we are supposed to come to work. Uh, we were not ready, and initially we were talking about TeamViewer, and then I believe TeamViewer is not a good idea because I don't know the technical details, but
yeah, it's kind of like not
uh,
used for a real VPN type of stuff. It's just more for like supporting a user online. That's the solution that people use. So yeah, you're right.
exactly. So we also had to deal with, just like a lot of companies would do right now, add our you know e- business licenses for Zoom so we can have meetings over the Zoom. Uh, our staff was not used to working basically using applications, so we have moved to Teams right now. So it's a lot of things.
So you
Teams,
guys are just kind of
Zoom.
like just going with the flow kind of thing. Like you just, okay, we can't get access to that. Let's just figure out a solution. We can't get access to that. Let's figure out a solution. It's kind of like that, right?
Yeah, it is like that, and I'd say it's always good if you plan ahead of time. But now it's given the
What kind of
situation.
what kind of IT setup do you guys like? Do you have an internal team, or do you guys like a
No,
MSP type, or like a vendor?
no. So we have a IT company which basically provides us IT services. We do have a director IT, but basically we have outsourced our IT.
Oh, it's okay. You guys outsource, okay, and they're taking care of everything: desktops, switches, networking, whatever, right?
Yes, they're taking care of all of that.
Oh, okay. So yeah, no man. So today, the people who are actually listening to you are all IT professionals. These are some of them are they want to get into IT. They're brand new, like students, and some are like Kev Tech. He has his own channel. He has a lot of experience in this side, 5 years of experience. So it's like the people that are listening to you is like we started this whole idea of let's just do live sessions and let's talk about what's happening, and then this may help people like you as well who can listen to us and maybe get more ideas from us. So this is what we're doing right now. So
Awesome.
it's an important information that you're sharing with us, that we're finding out, and we kind of knew this because we think that many people weren't ready for this type of situation, and now it feels like everybody's going there. Now let me ask you one thing: do you really think that after you guys, since you're operation manager, and I'm sure you have a lot of powers right there, so what will happen when your users are so used to working remotely? Do you really think that that's going to cause a trouble? Because a user can come to you tomorrow and say, hey, Numan, I've been working from home perfectly fine. Why aren't we doing like a remote job from home?
I think a lot of users wanted that already. They had that in mind, but somehow, of course, the culture plays a big role. But now having people work from home, and that too 5 days a week, I think it would be something you have to create a balance. You cannot just have people come in for 5 days again. I personally don't think so, and I'm all for working from home at least a day
So
or
I think
two
probably
from
you
home.
guys are gonna create a telecommute day for like a Friday or Sunday, whatever. Where people can just take on one day, right? That's usually the setup that I
Yeah,
see.
and also if you consider the situation, if you have more staff in one office, I think it's more sensible, even if hopefully this all gets settled, that you still have at least not more than one person in one office. So right now we have two or three, and if we have all of them working in the office, so I think it would be better. Yeah.
And let me ask you a tough question. Why did you guys go with a company like an outsource company and not hiring a local IT guys or people like who wants to? Oh, why did you guys go for
So
that? I know you guys are a pretty good nonprofit, pretty big one.
so you always have to consider a lot of things. It's not just one. You have to consider budget. You do consider several other things, expertise, quality of work. So we had people working before, like different people working in the office. But again, you have to have a system administrator, you have to have a IT help desk, and then you have to have a network engineer. With a company, you get all of that in one package. So
Mhm.
that's the plus side of the acquiring a company. But the downside is sometimes companies do have a lot of contracts, and that's where they get busy, and especially at these times, then the response time is slow. So I mean, it's a mix.
Yeah, and that's the pretty big one too, because sometimes it may be a critical issue, and you're like, they're like, okay, we're gonna take care of you guys like in 6 hours, and while you are like you have something critical going on, right?
Yeah, so that's something. I mean, it's a trade-off. You both both of the things have, like, if you have someone on premises and someone on not on site, have both pros and cons. So I mean, we thought that it would be a good idea to outsource, and I think it is in some ways.
Okay. Well, Naman, thank you so much for joining us. This is a great information for all of our people. I mean, if you guys, anybody who wants to ask him, he's still on the phone, so you guys can ask him a question about anything that you guys think of that can help you. So other than that, welcome, Leila. I think you just joined in. So we are all live right now. What I'm going to do right now, I'm also looking at YouTube. YouTube is probably dead by now, so nobody's there. But we are here. We're going to go in. And what we're going to do is today, we're going to basically jump into Azure. And this is kind of like the thing that I wanted to do is not to just talk about a cloud or Azure or getting to extreme detail of Azure right now. That's not my goal right here. My goal is to continue our live session that we did with KevTech in the beginning, IT career one. That was 3 hours. Then we did a IT remote skills, and that was almost 3 hours. So it's basically because if you look at it, it was about VPN, right? We were doing a lot of VPN stuff and everything, and we were connecting. So this is kind of like a phasing into more technical stuff right now. So even though this section has nothing to do too much about remote stuff, but it still has to do a lot the way we are going to do things like infrastructure remotely, or whole infrastructure remote, right? So it has to do a lot with that. To idea for you guys who are brand new to our training. So one thing I want to achieve from this is this. If you look at my screen, and can you guys confirm, can you guys see my screen? Okay.
Yeah, we see it.
You guys can see my screen. So if I do an Azure term lookup in Indeed.com, look at the titles right here. So the first thing I want to tell you guys is that do not try to get yourself into to this thinking that I'm going to skip my normal Active Directory learning, Office 365 and Windows 10 operating troubleshooting, and I'm just going to get into this learning right now, and I'm going to start learning Azure, and I'm going to land an entry-level job. That's not going to happen, because if you go to this titles right now, you look at Azure, look at what it says, Azure DevOps engineers. There's no way you are going to get this job right from the start. Even I will have some type of trouble getting that job. And Kev can even agree with me, $120,000, $140,000 is not a joke, right? They're not just going to give that to like someone who's brand new to this stuff. So if you look at it, that's what Azure can do for you in the future. If you want to get in, so this is gonna, like, these videos are breaking it down for you. Like, okay, you're learning some of the basics, you want to get into the help desk, but this is the future right here. Either this or AWS or cloud or Google or IBM or stuff like that. These are the type of future. And I will, by doing this lab, this is kind of to show you, okay, how did you do this basically? And then after that, it gives you, it turns more like it gives you more ideas, right? That, okay, if I don't have an infrastructure, I can do the same thing in an Azure. So why don't we just do that, right? It's kind of like that. And the second part is that if I say, yeah, it's not about you getting into Azure right now, that doesn't mean you are not going to learn about it. Let me prove it to you now by just going down a little bit. Look what's happening on the bottom right here. Can you guys pick something? Can you guys pick something related to you? What am I talking right here? By looking at the screen, look at the titles right here. I searched for Azure and a help desk technician came in. But look at this right here. Minimum qualification in the description right there. That doesn't mean that it's a hard qualification or they require that from you. Even if you talk about Active Directory, that will bypass Azure. But knowing about Azure these days is a good thing. It's a plus thing. It's a positive thing. So it's not bad. Learning about Azure is not bad, but also as a member of JobSkillShare, as a student of JobSkillShare who are in this, the people who actually did training with me, not KevTech or other people who are done training with me, I also want to tell you that do not lose focus, because that's what happened yesterday to me, Kev, that somebody called me and the person was like, I know a lot of things, but I lost focus. I don't know what I'm doing right here, right? I don't know what I'm basically doing all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, you have lost your focus, basically. You got to come down. He was like talking about sysadmin, network engineer, security, this and this. I'm like, you're all over. First of all, you're all over. Let me bring you back to where you need to be. And these things will help you. So even if you're taking this training, this is for you to open up your mind, to not get scared from this new stuff. And by touching this, by doing it, that is the only way you're going to learn these new things. By looking at Azure, trust me, it's going to take you too long, right? So, all right, so go ahead. Let's go ahead and let's get started. So we're going to first talk about this video is about what? Let's just do a little drawing, and I like to do this with my members and everybody just to give you an idea of what we're trying to achieve. And maybe Kevin, you can also jump in. This is kind of like a demo where it's not a, like, you know, how can I say this? It's not professionally approved by any IT professionals or any company or anything. This is a demo where it just opens up your mind. It's the solutions. It's like, I want to open a business and I want to give you a solution. Whether it's good or bad, that's totally not the part of this video, right? Whether it's secure or not secure, that's not what we're doing right here. It's just to open up your mind to technology, like what we're doing on this cloud-based platform, right? Because what is cloud? Like, well, why do we use cloud? We gotta use cloud for a solution. Other than that, cloud is useless. Like, why do we even use cloud, right? Cloud is built for solutions. You gotta use it for some type of solution. So that's why you need cloud, or else you're wasting money. You have to pay everything in cloud. Other than that, free stuff is fine. You can access this little tiny things in the cloud right now. But a real stuff, if you want to use compute power like 16 GB RAM or let's say 200 GB RAM, trust me, you're going to be paying like $400 to $600 a month just for that huge server. So why would you even pay that kind of money? It doesn't make sense to people, right? Why can't I just spin up my own lab in my basement with having, let's say, a 256 GB RAM, invest one time, and that's it, you're done, right? Why would I keep investing on a system that is costing me money again and again? Doesn't make sense to people, right? So that is what we're going to do right here. So let's go ahead and first draw this, this idea. And maybe Kev, you can also kind of like get into it and see if you have seen this for the first time, you can also talk about it, and let's just share some ideas. So here's the idea right here. The idea is this, that right now we were working in this building, and I actually did this yesterday and I failed in that at the last point I failed. So today, I don't know if I failed again, it would be like a video with a lot of information, but maybe with a failure, but I'm gonna go with it. So here you go. We got a building right here, and in this building we have a let's say a business owner, and the business owner have, let's say, 10 machines, 10 people working on laptops, desktops, whatever they're using, right? And the business owner is here. So with this coronavirus, what happened is that now everybody has to go where? They have to shut down the business, right? They cannot go into the business. And everybody was used to going to the business, and they have to use their desktops, and they have to do certain things. But this person also, let's say, don't have anything to manage these machines. He was using just a work group machine, right? So he was going there, he was managing these people, fine, no problem. 5, 10 machines are okay. They can use a work group type of network, and he can still manage it, no problem at all, right? But now with this coronavirus, he cannot even go to the building. So, and he cannot lose the business right now because his users have to use certain things and applications and stuff like that, or whatever he has. But this is the idea right here. So what he is to do right now, he's thinking, these people are going to go outside right now. They're going to go home. So I'm going to go home, as let's say I'm the business owner right now. So let's say this is my home right here. And this is all my users right here. Like this is users' home. And this is my home, right? Admin home. So I'm thinking right now, hey, why don't I just buy 5 laptops of these people? Because they're not going to use their machines right there. They're like, I'm not using my machine. My machine is this and this and that. They're complaining about it, or I don't have a machine. You're the business guy. You want me to work? Give me a laptop, right? Most of the people, like businesses, that's what they did, right, Kev? They ordered like 40 laptops, right? Like in one of the clients that I know, they ordered almost 60 laptops. And I'm sure you guys ordered a lot of laptops, and you said that it was a backlog or something like this. So that's happening. Let's not deny that it's not happening, right? It's happening. Business owners have to buy this stuff, and they're doing it. Some people may not. I don't know about them. But here you go. Let's say this administrator, this admin guy, this business owner say that I'm going to give them laptops. But I really don't want to just put a username and password, give it to one person, put a username and password, give it to another person, put a username and password, give it to another person. So because in that, what will happen, either if there's an issue with it, then maybe I don't want to give that admin password to that person. Like I don't want to give that admin password so then they can do anything they want to, right? It will create more security issues. It will create more other business related issues, whatever it is. So this person says that, you know what, I am a little techie right here, or I will hire a technician right there. Or maybe they'll hire KevTech. And KevTech comes in like, guy, okay, I got a solution for you. Why don't we put an Active Directory inside Azure, and you will connect all these laptops before you give it to them. You'll connect these laptops to the Azure, give it to them. It doesn't matter where they go. And it doesn't matter even if they have, let's say one laptop is being used by 3 people, and on the fly, if you have to create an account, how hard would that be? And Kev can verify that. How hard would that be if those laptops were a work group computer? Somebody has to either share that admin password, or somebody has to do the remote in to that machine, right? And add those users, and then they will use that laptop user. So I'm just creating an idea right here, guys. This is not a perfect solution right here. This is not maybe this is not approved by anybody. I'm just creating something that can start talking, right? So like you would give me other solution. Sure, like, you probably say, okay, why don't we put some kind of client on it, something like that. But those are still not a domain network type of solution, right, Kev? Like it doesn't, group policy doesn't come with it. Software deployments doesn't come with it. So if you have to manage something so smoothly to these 5 laptops and manage them all over, you gotta be putting them on an Active Directory, right? So the idea is that we are gonna use, we cannot use the building here at all right now, right? So building is out of the question. And now you're sitting home, you got this Active Directory in your hands, and you got all these 5 laptops under your control, all through the cloud. So that's to show you this example is not just that you should focus only on this example. you should focus on what the cloud can offer us right now. That's what I'm basically implying from this whole example. So that should open up your mind, guys, that, okay, wow, I can do this from the cloud right now. That's so awesome. I don't even need a physical building for this stuff. And I can do such powerful things that was not possible before, right? You had to do a lot of stuff for this stuff to happen. There were, back in the days, we would have physical servers, physical data centers, physically me being there as a sysadmin, and I had to VPN into things and everything like that. Now things are moving to cloud, and that is one of the examples that I want to give, right? So Dominic's like, don't be scared to fail. I'm not scared. I'm not scared to fail. I'm just worried that we're gonna do all this stuff at the end, it might not work, and it's just we can go ahead, Kev. You want to talk about something?
Oh yeah, I wanted to say that the important thing also is that you have everything managed on the domain, because not only is that it helps IT, but also it's a compliance thing. So by compliance, I mean that they could track and see everything that goes in and out of the network, things that you do when working in the office, when things you do when you're working out of the office. So HR and compliance will love to be part of that, because they have to see what goes on. You can't just start randomly downloading stuff, or randomly start, I guess, adding a local printer to your computer if it's not managed by the domain. No, everything else goes involved in it.
I'll give you another perfect example. What about the people that were inside the building and they were taking payments? That these type of buildings has to be PCI compliance, and we as a sysadmin and security administrator has to make sure that these laptops are super secure before they run any transactions, even inside that secure application. So that laptop, this is something, Kev, that we're gonna go in our next sessions, how to secure. Security is going to be the next thing, right? So we're going to give this laptop to users, but then I don't want them to be doing anything in that laptop if they're not connected to VPN. This means if they shut down my VPN, their laptop shuts down. This means again, they cannot even go anywhere. And they won't be able to change anything because they don't have admin rights. Of course, if they want to break my admin rights, they can do this. That's illegal. Illegal, I can do anything, right? Illegal, anybody can do anything. So that's something we're going to go into. So this way we can touch up things with one example right here. And that's why my goal was from this session was to, when we start this session, we talk to each other, and then we slowly go into these labs, so then they can understand something practically too. So we're going to, in future, we're going to go in and touch these things also. This is going to become a pretty cool thing at the end. Maybe someone will just say, whoa, I can even open my own business like this. So they can actually do this, right? So, okay. Number one, we need to talk about where can you learn about Azure if you're very much interested. So one of our friend channel, Kuberman, he started an Azure videos. I want to talk about this because he had done an introduction on Azure, and he has done some other trainings on that. So make sure you watch his channel because he has done that. So this way we don't have to invest that kind of time. But Microsoft also gives you a free 16 hours plus training for free. So you can go to the Microsoft site and just type Azure Learning, and you got this for free stuff right there. And we on top are making real world training, so then people can go over the Microsoft stuff, and then we'll say Microsoft is not talking about some of the things that is important in the companies. We're going to talk about it, right? So that's what we're doing right now. So at the end, this is going to become a pretty good thing, and maybe at the end you can become that DevOps as your person and land that $120,000 job, and you can invest some money on me and Kev. Probably send $5,000 to Kev and $5,000 to me. We're happy.
Danish, I only have one question from now. Let's say that it's the existing building and they already have their Active Directory. Is it like possible to move that existing Active Directory to the Azure?
Anything is possible. So you can bring the whole Active Directory, put it in Azure. You can have the Azure Active Directory and connect it with the current Active Directory. So, and that's what's happening these days. You have this sync going on, right? AD sync. And if you have an on-premises type of environment that they are using, let's say an Active Directory internally, and they VPN into that and add people. So what happens is that automatically that account gets added to your Office 365 and Azure itself. That's already happening. But a whole Active Directory, like we're just removing the whole building out of this thing from this equation right now, right? This is for people to just understand what cloud can do for you, okay? So now let's get started. The first thing we need to understand is how do you create a virtual machine inside a Azure cloud platform, right? So the first thing is that you guys can also register to Azure, pay. You don't have to pay. You will register with a free trial, and they will give you $200 credit. So if I click on this little bell icon right here, and you see I have only $87 left, so that's why I'm doing this lab, by the way, because I want to use that money to actually do this. You will have $200, and you can do everything that I'm showing you right now. You can actually even use your own training. Gigi and Leila, you guys have done my training, right? So your access probably will be expiring soon on the servers right here, the one that we give you with 30 GB, right? So you can actually use this $200 to expand that training and do it, everything, the same thing that I teach you, everything you can do it over here as well. And that will give you like another month of training hands-on. Did you guys get that?
Yeah, got it.
All right. So now once you go to portal.azure.com and you register for your own trial, they don't charge you. After that, they will ask you if you want to use it. You say no if you don't want to use it. After that, the first thing you should do is to come back to the virtual machines right here. When you click on the virtual machines, so here you can actually add virtual machines just like how I have added into vSphere. So they're using exactly they have their own system. I feel like they call it what? They call it Arc, something like that. I forgot the whole name. This is the whole system that they're using is Arc, right? So so basically you come over here and you do the same process, but of course you got to learn a little bit about Azure itself to create something in there. So for example, if I have to add something, a virtual machine, and I want to deploy a server, I click on add, and the first thing you need to do in Azure, you got to create a resource group. Now, I'm not going to go too much detail about what is a resource group, but you need that. You can see right here, it says, what is it? Required, right? Based on that, you can basically, split your things. Like, for example, I want to do lab machine. So I can say lab resource JSS group, or they have them weird namings. People use that. Or I can say my production machines. So I can remove these. I can separate my resources out because you can even build them separately like that. So that's little bit advanced stuff right there. And that's why I would recommend you go to the Kubernetes channel to learn about this stuff, because he's talking about that stuff, right? So if you come over here, I have already created a RSVMs, right? So I just call that. And after that, you will just basically type, let's say DC 100. Now, when I do this, you see on the bottom, it picked up a size automatically for me based on what image. And you guys should know about imaging right now, right? Image is already created. Somebody have worked on these things a little bit ahead of the time. So some are fresh images. So as soon as you click on it, it doesn't do the installation, by the way. You will not see in Azure, if you pick a 2016 server, you don't see them installing, right? You never see that, right, Kev? Like you just actually, when you click on it and you turn it on, it takes few minutes, like 2-3 minutes, and you got, your server is up and running with the username and password. So if you guys have learned about imaging in your training, remember, we have done that, right? That you take the whole image, and we also send you videos about imaging. So we have free videos on our channel. So if you click on the bottom right here, you see we have multiple options that we can pick right now. So the first thing, as a business owner, what do I need to do? If you guys can add a question, like, help me out. What should I pick over here if I have to put Active Directory inside my Azure cloud? Can I pick Send OS for Active Directory?
No, Windows Server, I guess.
Okay, good, nice. So we have to use a Windows Server 2016, and then you see right here, you can put 16 or 19 or 12, it doesn't matter. So you can put the username, password, and the password, and after that, you don't care too much about the rest. You just click on review and create. Let it pick the disk for you. We don't care about that kind of stuff right now, and it will create that a machine for you from scratch, and then you have it right there. But now I don't want to do this. I want to make it even more easy for myself. How can you do that? So in Azure, people can put stuff in the market. So the market already have things even ahead of the image. So you can even have more configuration done inside the operating system, and you can buy it from the market for free, or you can pay for them. That is another powerful thing in cloud that you will not get in your local environment. Why? Because somebody has to do that kind of stuff, right? For you, that's a lot of time. And the perfect example is who uses this type of stuff? Developers of all this, different type of applications they use, different type of methods that they use, different type of technologies that they want to use. And with one click, they have everything just comes up like in 4 or 5 minutes, and everything is ready for them. And developer doesn't have that kind of knowledge like an IT person at the back end, right? Like the operating systems, how all this stuff works. Developer just knows about coding, and there are certain developers that are really good with IT too. So they're really at that skill. They're really good because they got two major skills, and they're pretty good at that moment. But those are pretty like this many developers. Normal developers in the companies, they just know how to program .NET, and they will ask you, hey, can I get an operating system? So can I get a testing machine and stuff like that? I'm not sure if Kev does that kind of stuff too, but that's what I deal with as a sysadmin, right? Okay. So we are going to go to the market. And if I click over here, what I would like to do first is I'm just going to, when you log in for the first time, right, you're going to do portal.azure.com like this. After your trial, when you do that, right? Did I put portal? No, I don't want to do that. I want to get hacked right now. All right. So the first time when you go in there like this, you see that I have certain tabs already open. So if you look on the left side, this is where all the magic is happening in Azure. So you can pick anything you like to. In future, you're going to learn and understand all these things, and especially the Azure Active Directory. Now, remember, we're not talking about Azure Active Directory here. That's a total different thing. That's not a Active Directory inside a virtual machine that we're going to do. That's not an Active Directory that you were used to in your training. That's an Active Directory directly coming from infrastructure, and it connects to your machine, but it doesn't do that kind of management that a normal Active Directory does. These two are totally two different things right here. Don't confuse it together, because I've seen people talking about, why are you going to use local Active Directory while you have Azure Active Directory? Those two are totally different things, right? They have total different type of solutions, and at some point, maybe Microsoft in future may just replace it. I don't know about that. To be honest, at this point, they're not the same thing. Okay. So right now we're going to focus on what? Virtual machines, and then you're going to be installing this. But now my focus is what? I want to go back to marketplace. So you can also go to the search right here and do the marketplace searching, and you can also click on the marketplace. So with that, I can actually go to my recently created machines, and I can look for the ones that I want to spin up right now. So what do I want to do in this scenario? What do I need? I need an Active Directory, right, in Azure. And what else do I need, by the way? Can anyone help me? What else do I need for me to connect those laptops?
Workstations.
Okay, we already know that workstations, they have a laptops, right? So what else do we need for them to connect to the Active Directory? Can they just directly connect to my Active Directory?
VPN tunnel.
VPN, there you go, good job. So we need two machines in this scenario for this project to work. The first thing we need is what? We need an Active Directory domain controller. So we're going to click on it, and you see this is what I was talking about, that you get pre-built Active Directory, but it's not fully done, by the way. I'm not doing a start with preset configuration. I'm going to make it create, so it has a little bit of information already, so then we can speed up this process, okay? Because if you want to learn about how to create a whole Active Directory from scratch, to be honest, Kev have a video, and I have tons of videos. Just type JavaScript Active Directory, and you're going to find like 7 videos from my channel only. So we're not going to invest too much time on here. So Active Directory, you click on Create Active Directory, and there you go. You got the machine. It'll just come up right now. It's going to look for a memory automatically and everything. It's going to say loading a price. And this is what I was talking about. Make sure you understand this. You see everything about compute. As soon as you start hitting RAM, as soon as you start hitting CPU, you're going to get charged. And that is a lot of people, when they're brand new, they take these things like for granted, that I'm just going to get this for free from somewhere. That's not going to happen. You either have to buy a laptop with at least 16 GB RAM if you really want to do these kind of things. And I can guarantee you below 16, you're going to have issues. Kev can probably verify that more than me. He's more into the help desk side right now. 16 is where people can do things, but below 16s, you start to struggle, right? If you want to deploy 2 or 3 different machines, bam, you're starting to have issues. Then it depends on how many CPUs you got, vCPUs, you're gonna starting to have more issues. Kev, anything on that?
No, I agree with you. That's the reason why I had 16 gigs of RAM, and I built a new computer, and it has 64 gigs of RAM now, and it has 12 cores. It has 12 cores on it with an SSD. and 1 terabyte as an external hard drive. So yeah, I agree with you. You need to have a lot of memory for virtual machines. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah. So if our members are watching right now, how much are we giving you? We give them, Kev, 30 GB and 8 vCPUs, and that's for 30 days. So look at the 30 days amount from them if you do use their 24/7. And that's not only it. That thing is pretty nice server. So you can have, like, in 30 GB, they deploy like multiple servers. So they have a whole backend access rather than just giving them one server and they get stuck in it. That's not how you learn IT. You gotta go back a little bit. You gotta have that ESXi level access so you can do things on your own rather than somebody giving you a virtual machine. And I remember when I was doing a training myself, right, Kev, in the beginning, few years ago, people were giving like virtual machines directly, like one virtual machine for you, one virtual machine for you, and like it's like that. Like it was like a direct virtual machine. There's no backend access. I'm like, how did you create this whole thing? I was always confused about this stuff, right? So that confusion is why we're spending so much time right now to get that away. So here we have resource group. We're gonna pick that, and we're gonna name this virtual domain controller. What should we name it? Let's do demo DC. Demo DC, we name that, and we're gonna come down right here and we're gonna put a username and a password. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, that's not working. Microsoft doesn't let me do these things, or else I'll put 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't care about these labs, man. I hate when this happens. There you go. Okay, guys. So anyone that's watching this video right now in our live session, do you guys have any confusion about this? What I'm doing right now? Anything that does it even make sense to you guys that you guys have done that training and you created a template in a vSphere? Does it sound similar? Does it look similar? Rahul, go ahead.
Yeah. Same issues.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So one thing I want to tell you that don't be scared of these things. If you are going to do this hands-on, then it's going to become more and more easy for you guys, right? It's like everything is getting refreshed with something new right there. So let's go ahead and click on next with disk right here. So I let this basically, like, I'll let it just the same. Like I don't change anything in my lab environment because there's a reason for it. When I use something like that, like a configuration, it's already done. Some of these things are done for you. So if you start doing a lot of messing around with it, then if you mess around with it and you try to achieve something, then there's really hard for you to fix something. Why? Because there's already some configuration done. And if it's your configuration messes that up, then it's hard to fix that. Even a person with 13 years experience doesn't matter. I mean, I've never seen this, right? This is not my configuration. Somebody else did it. So how can I just go in there like, bam, I just fix it, right? Luckily, I may fix it, but maybe I might not get lucky. And I mean, I'm never able to fix it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click on review and create, and let's see if Microsoft let us create that. So far, it's good. And sometimes, to be honest, when you are running a trial version, Microsoft is so B-dash, right? They just don't let you do things, right? They're just like, oh, no, hold on. You're doing something different, you know? So here, guys, what happened? The validation passed. This is how easy it is to create a full-blown server in Azure. And right now in the backend, things are happening. Right? This could have been what, a 2-minute video if we were not talking like this, right? I could have just gone there, finished, done. But of course, for understanding, I need to talk about this stuff. So I'll click on create. So where can I go back and find this machine, virtual machine in Azure? Anybody?
Well, I guess in the section of virtual machines.
You're gonna go click here and go where?
Virtual machines.
Virtual machines, perfect. So why am I not seeing it right here?
Because it's the domain controller, I guess.
No. Look on the top. Look on the top. What's happening?
Oh, notification.
It's still deploying it right now. So another thing, a lot of new people get confused. They come in here, they start clicking on it, refreshing. They don't look on the top, and then that's where it is. Okay.
I was gonna say something like like a quick note is that we could have spent like literally 1 minute creating it, but we spent all this time on it because the thing is that you have to explain this when you go on a job interview. You have to create, like, you have to explain the process of how it works. You're going to get a bunch of job interviews where people ask you questions about how to create a VM or how to create a server and stuff like that. So that's the reason why we're going over it kind of in depth a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yep. All mine is saying that it's still spinning. It's actually still deploying. It's not actually spinning. It's just doing the whole process, because remember, we used a template, and the template had more configuration in there. It was not just a basic image, right? That would have been a less time. But right now is in the backend is basically using scripts and things like that that was designed for that, right? So that's why it's in your terms spinning, but it's deploying, right? Okay. Now, what else do we need? Remember, we needed another thing too right here, right? What do we need? What else? What else can we deploy? We're going to go to Marketplace, and I'm going to go ahead and go to my recent created, and I'm going to click on what? VPN Server 2016. So if somebody look at this template, what does that imply, by the way? Can anybody tell me what does that mean? Soft VPN Server Windows 2016. Can anyone tell me what that is? Like, what is it? What's come to your mind right now?
Well, what is virtual private network server? No. What people will be connecting to that? I mean, like workstation will be connecting to that, and they'll have that servers what is available on this portal.
So basically, it is a normal operating system with an application on it. That's it, right? It's nothing special. It's just an operating system, and it has that application. So it saves me time by going to softether.net website and downloading it into a machine. It's already there for me, right? It's an image created. So I'm going to do create. And I'm going to click on RSVM here, same process. And we're going to call it what? VPN. There you go. And then after that, we're going to put the name in here, password. I'm going to keep the same stuff. 1, 2, 3. So there you go, guys. I'm going to click on next here just to see if this is the same process. You have just review and create, and Microsoft should also let me do this one, running final validation, and it passed, right? So then you have to click on create, by the way, for this to work. So right now we are deploying how many machines?
2
machines. So let's go back to our virtual machines again. And it's still deploying. So we can wait for it to come up right here. But at this point, we have one task done, right? And that's to just prepare our what? Prepare our machines in Azure, in the cloud. We're not touching local stuff right now. So this laptop is an example for us, right? This laptop is in my building right now, or in my house, and I'm configuring this for my employee, and I want to lock it down with Active Directory, right? That's the whole goal, right? That's why we're doing this stuff, because we want to manage this laptop before it goes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't done this part yet. So let's jump into this part right now. So let's consider that laptop is our local virtual machine right now. So what I did in this lab, in our local vSphere, now this is a total different network. This is totally not cloud right now. That's home right now, home-based server, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to consider this laptop right now. So this laptop is
in Canada.
Can somebody tell me it's in Canada right now? Okay. Can somebody tell me, is this already joined to a domain or not?
It's not.
No,
Because it has administrator.
Yeah, because it doesn't have anything to go other user or anything. It doesn't give you that option to join this, to see that this is a part of a domain, right? There's nothing, right? Now, if you look at it right now, if I'm going to log into this laptop, how else can you verify that this machine is on workgroup?
You mean right now?
Where do I go to verify that this laptop is on workgroup?
System.
To
So-
yeah, to the Explorer, File Explorer. I'm just doing this different way, but
This is a server, so it doesn't matter. I mean, you guys can still figure it out. Like you can go where to find if this server is a work group server or it's joined to a domain.
So we have to wait to see the Active Directory should come on the left side. Active Directory domain controller.
But this, I'm not saying that is this a domain controller or not. I'm saying is this joined to a domain or is this a work group?
So
Left.
right now, tools, we can't see any computers, users, and
Okay,
in the
here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm not saying that this is a domain controller. Is this a work? Is this on work group or is this joined to a domain? Let's forget about domain controller here.
I think it's joined to a domain
How?
because it came from, let me see, the virtual machine.
Okay.
Nextware, so it's not just born like that. It's connected to something, to a virtual machine.
But when we deploy a virtual machine, does it automatically join to a domain? I mean, I have to do something for it to.
No, not automatically. No.
Okay, so I haven't done anything with this. Is a fresh machine right now. I just logged into it, so this is not on domain.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's not.
It's not on domain because you can verify by going to the local server here, and you can click on what you don't have to click anywhere.
Work group. Yeah.
Okay, what is the other one? And all mine also answered you guys. If you go to right click, go to systems.
System, yeah.
And where do I go to verify this? You go down.
Down system info.
System info. And then it tells you that this is on
work group. Yeah.
Work group. So there are multiple ways for you guys to verify. And trust me, if somebody wants to do a technical test from you, I would do this kind of test. This is such a basic test. If you fail this and you tell me you have 1 year's experience in IT, then I'm not sure if you're going to get that job. Right, Kev? I mean, Kev, what do you think about that?
That's actually one of my technical questions, actually. So I besides personality questions, I have technical questions. And I would ask a person like, how would you add a computer to a domain? Where would you go to add to a computer to a domain? And then when you do add it on a domain, how do you what happens? What prompts do you get as you're adding it? Basically, that would be my question, if that makes sense.
Because if you think about it, guys, in a Microsoft world, and most of us are working on this, this is something that you're going to come across 100%. I'm not even going to say 99%. 100%. If you're working in an Active Directory environment, it's just no way for you to not do this stuff. Like you have to go through and join the computer to a domain, right? Right, Kev? This is something you got to go through. So like I said in my training, that this is something you guys have to really nail it down, because if somebody tests you and you are kind of like shaky in this area, this is just too basic for them to say, okay, you don't know. Okay, go ahead, Kev.
I want to add to that. Also, this is part of troubleshooting if a computer falls out of a domain. So basically, it gets deleted and the object gets deleted, or the computer is no longer in the system. Sometimes you might have to join it back on workgroup and then re-add it again on the domain to fix like a couple error messages.
Yeah, very common. This is a very common issue, because sometimes a computer could be down for a long time and it would lose that trust relation with a domain, and that happens. You need to get in as a local admin, remove it, come back and add it back again. All right. So somebody asked me, how can I join this? Ash, if you want to join this, look at my screen. I'm just going to take you right now. If you go to my community in Job Skills Share, go to the community, and this is a Zoom link right here. Anybody who's watching this and they want to join this, you're more than welcome to join. So it's in the community. Click on this blue link and then go ahead and join us. Okay, let's go back now. So right now, guys, how do we verify that this is not connected to the, hold on, let me refresh this. Like, what? It's taking too long for it not to show up. There you go. Sometimes you have to refresh it, okay? All right, there you go, guys. You got a demo DC and you got a VPN right here. Two machines working in our cloud right now. Now, if I tell you that if I click on this right now, what's happening? How can we find some information about this cloud network right now? So tell me, what is the public IP in this machine and what is a private IP?
13.2.120.
Yeah.
Perfect.
1392, yeah.
Now, if I ask you guys a question that, can I ping this demo DC from my local laptop in Canada? Can I do that?
Yeah, I should.
Oh, you say you should. Okay, let's do this right now. Hold on. Let's say
try.
you should. Sorry, Vilad, I'm picking on you right now, but I like to make it more interesting, you know. So here you go. Vilad says that since you turned on the local Canada machine, somebody just opened their laptop and then they're gonna ping my demo DC from internet. Both have internet. Demo DC, will it work?
No.
Look, it doesn't even know anything about it yet, right? A demo DC, if I put that demo DC just name out there, it's not gonna work. But what if I put something else in there? Maybe it'll work. What if I put something?
IP address.
Which IP address?
The one what was public.
The public IP. So what's
1382.
that? Somebody note it down. 13.82. 13.82.120, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dot
67.
Oh my God, it's still not working.
Yeah.
No.
So why is that?
So because we are not
connected. We need a map.
We need what?
And map to check ports. I just checked.
Okay, let's do connect RDP. I'll give you an example right now. I'm gonna locally download this RDP to my machine. Why is this working?
Maybe. Oh, okay.
Why is this working right now, and why that IP is not working?
Because protected, I guess.
Protected. There is look. The protected answer is correct because that port is not open for pinging. Pinging is totally, it uses a different port. You have this specific RDP port open by Azure for you to connect to the RDP of that machine, right?
Yeah.
So this is very important for you guys because you will be asked in the interviews, can you define me certain basic ports? Like somebody will ask you about HTTP port, right, Kev? This is a basic interview questions. Tell me what is the port of HTTP, what is the port of HTTPS? So by doing this kind of example, it has to do with ports, okay? Because that's why you're not able to ping it. Because of security. Everything that comes in Azure right now comes with a security, like you have your machine security, then you have your network security, and then you have a cloud security. So there's a lot that has to go through, right? So not to go into that detail right now, I don't want to go into that kind of stuff right now, but we know that RDP is working right now. So what should I do first? I'm gonna RDP into this machine by using the username and password that I created, right? Is this, even though we use the configuration of saying about Active Directory configuration and install that image, is this domain yet? Is this a domain controller yet?
I guess we didn't set up anything yet.
What's that?
We didn't set up everything.
We didn't set up everything yet. Good job. But we haven't really fully, done this configuration all the way. Even though it gave us a little bit more configuration about domain controller, it enabled some of the stuff that domain controller would need. All the security ports and everything. With this configuration, it's like in Azure, you have to enable every single thing in networking. So if you want a passwords to be changing using, let's say, some other port, that needs to be enabled. For computers to connect to a domain controller, it's not about just one port. It uses many different ports to do different things as a domain controller. So this configuration have done that part for us, right? So right now, we are inside this domain. So right now we just tested. How would I verify if this is a domain controller or not? Where do I go? We just did this, guys. So how do I?
Well, I could show you another way. File Explorer.
File Explorer.
Yeah. And then also right click on this PS. Properties.
Good job.
So work group.
So there you go. This is a work group. Right now, the first thing we need to do is to do what? We need to convert this into a domain controller. So if you guys were not watching my video and you're like super bored from this video, you could do this like in 5 minutes. You will have a domain controller. Just go straight to domain controller. And how do you create a domain controller, guys? Where do I go to create a domain controller in this server?
Change settings.
Wait, settings. No, there's not settings.
Sorry.
We have to convert this into a domain controller. So we gotta go somewhere.
to the
Look what's
server
happening.
manager panel?
Look what's happening on the left side. ADDS just popped up. DNS just popped up. What does that tell you?
It's on domain.
It's not totally on domain. And this is what I was talking about, making your life easy by using a template.
Okay.
If I was not doing this, this will not happen. You have to go to the manage and you have to do that stuff from scratch. It does require one more thing for you to do this, finish this thing. It requires what? To promote this domain controller right now.
Okay.
And if you remember, it saves you time right now. If you wouldn't do this part, if you're not using my template like that, right? You're going to be doing this from scratch then. You see this, Kevin? Like this is already did that. Some of the initial configuration. So we're going to promote it. And now we're going to give, because they're not going to give you a template with their own domain name. That doesn't make sense. What kind of template will people give you? Like, oh, use my domain name, right? So they will leave it in a position where you can come and then use that name in there. So let's go ahead and what do we want to name this? This is a fresh domain. Domain DC, right? Demo DC, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry about that. I got to put a full domain. demodc.jobskillshare.org, and we're going to go click next. So now we're going to give a password. If anybody have a question, Gigi or anybody, jump in, okay? So now we are creating a domain controller in the cloud. And this is a very important part right here in the NetBIOS. A lot of time when you get prompts, you use this like demo / whatever the username is, right? Most of the time. So you don't put like a whole big cloud name, demo / DC cloud, Cloudflare, blah, 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 / username. You put just a NetBIOS in there, right? Mm-hmm. And I hate when this happens. I think I did probably mess up some. But anyways, remember this. This is demo DC0. And when we were doing our trainings, this is where we came across some issues and you guys knew how to find this information again. Because once I create this, I cannot come back to this same wizard, right? I got to find this from somewhere then. This information, right? But right now, let's forget about that. We're creating a domain controller and we're at the last stage right now. So this is going to maybe take a minute or two. Any questions so far or anything you guys want to discuss?
So Danish, I have a question. Mm-hmm. So we are using RDP right now. Right now we are doing this all stuff through RDP, right? So basically we are going from Azure, that Microsoft web browser.
We're accessing that domain controller from Azure through RDP directly.
RDP, yeah. It's like we are using now we are performing.
We're using a different protocol with a different port number. This is a total different thing than a browser, right? It's just directly getting into the machine, right?
From a web browser.
Not web browser. You're saying web browser again. So here, it's not a web browser. RDP is a different. No. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Look, what is this right here? This is not a browser, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And look on the top right here. What is the IP address? You either need to type in IP address in the RDP, or you need to either type the name of that machine, but the name will only works if you're internally inside a building and it knows about that name, DNS, right? So that's where the DNS plays a role. So that's why Microsoft gives you a direct IP address. They don't give you, say, go and do the RDP to demo DC. It's never going to work because your local private network doesn't know anything about demo DC, right? Outside. If you had a demo DC inside your network, it's going to try to RDP to that machine. It won't even know about Microsoft. So that's why they give you IP directly.
Okay.
So right now I'm installing a domain controller. This is the last stage right now, right? So we're done with the domain controller on the cloud. So at this point, at least we have done one project successfully, that we have created a Active Directory inside the cloud. So if you want to do more practice on your own and you don't have to worry about my project, you can spin up more virtual machines and add those virtual machines to this domain and do everything that we're teaching you. Me and Kev are almost teaching you things that are inside the Active Directory, by the way, right, Kev? Most of it. So you can actually practice on your own by just using everything inside the cloud Just make sure it's trial and you're not paying for it again after that. If you want to pay, that's fine. You have money, no problem, right? So after when a domain controller is created, what happens? It needs to be rebooted, and once in RDP situation, that connection will be what? Closed, right? So when it gets restarted, that session will go away. And it's weird that Microsoft is so advanced and I still can't see a console or something like this. Maybe I'm just not focusing. Do you know anything, Kevin, about it? But I never focused too much on this area. Like I don't see a console. I don't know. There's in Azure, like if you normally put you either have SSH, you have the other ones, but you don't see like a VMware vSphere, like a console like this, right? Maybe I'm just not, I don't know about it. I never searched it on my own right here.
I think it's up there. If you go up.
Where?
You scroll up on the tab. It should be somewhere there.
Oh, yeah, I thought it would be in the connect area right here.
Hit the little 3 dots on the left-hand side. Is there anything there? No, it's just connect.
Yeah, and I have trouble finding. Maybe if somebody who's watching this live and they know about this, let us know, because I've been struggling with this stuff. Yeah. It makes our life easy, you know? Anyway, we can always search on our own and find it, but right now, that's not my focus here. So here's the thing. If you look at the networking, this is what I was talking about, guys. Why I like you guys to go for the templates in the beginning as a beginners is because you need too many things to be open for Active Directory to work. It's not gonna just automatically open up these ports. Look how many things this template has opened up for us. LDAP port what?
389.
Yeah. So the problem is that as a beginner, none of you are gonna know almost 80% of these different type of things, right? So if you are a beginner and you're trying to do this old stuff and you're trying to follow my project and you're not following my steps and you just do that basic Active Directory without doing a template, then you need to know these ports or else you're going to have issues. Are you guys getting my point? Because then you're going to have to know a lot about Active Directory itself for it to work. Other than that, you're going to have issues, okay?
Okay.
No problem. Thank you, Dare. We appreciate the comment. So now that Active Directory is done, what else do we need right now? So I am, as a business owner, says, okay, I got my Active Directory working. I'm happy. At least it's working. It's up and running. What else do I need to configure?
Now we need to set up VPN.
VPN server. So if I need to configure a VPN server, where do I connect? I just go to click on connect. I click where? I download what?
Oh, RDP file.
RDP right here, right? And this is also a work group machine right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the another important thing about VPN and stuff like this, you don't have to join this machine to that same domain. If you want to make it easy, you want to manage this same VPN server for yourself, you can do that. But you don't have to, because a VPN has the things that we want to do, it has to do with network. So it has nothing to do with your Active Directory right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for us to connect to this network, we can use a workgroup machine or we can use an Active Directory machine. If we were going to authenticate our user through Active Directory, then we need these machines to be joined to the Active Directory. But we're not going that advanced right now, okay? Later on, we're going to do these things. We're gonna make this a full-blown company. So if somebody really wants to open a business like this, trust me, you can make pretty good money then. But don't forget to credit me, because this is not available on internet, and put credit like, JobSkillshare, KevTech, and all this kind of stuff. And also send, like, if you make like $1 million, make sure you guys send at least $10,000 from 1 million, okay? I'm just joking with you guys. So here, we're gonna have to set up a server. A VPN server is already installed on that machine. So we're gonna double click on this VPN server. And I'm doing this from scratch right now. This is a good time to learn about this stuff. So we're gonna connect to this VPN. Say yes. Low on memory already? Are you kidding me? Okay. Okay, so we're gonna click on connect. What did we pick? Did we pick like 500 MB for a server or something? Oh man, this is not good. This is totally crashing right now. Okay, so here we're gonna we give it a password. So we create so this is a pretty advanced stuff right here. So I'm gonna go zoom through it. So the one thing you wanna choose is remote access VPN server. You don't wanna do site-to-site VPN. That's if you wanna connect a Azure cloud with the AWS cloud and with a cloud, another cloud, and you wanna bring everything together, you would do site-to-site and advanced VPN. Here, we're gonna keep it simple. We're gonna pick the first option and click next. And then you will name VPN right here. So virtual hub name, we're gonna name it. And this is an important part right here, okay? You have to, just like a domain, right? Just like we're creating a domain controller, you also have to put a name out there. So that's gonna be reserved for you with that IP address. So we're gonna call this JSS demo 3 and set a host name. So Leila and other people, what I did, on the internet, I am basically telling the whole world that JSS demo 3 is .softether.net is my server. Even with the name, they can find me now. So in the DNS, I have used that IP address, and with that IP address, on top of that, I'm saying this is the name of, if you want to look it for me, and if you go for JSS demo 3.softether.net, then use that IP address with this to identify me. Okay? So now I'm going to click exit. And if you want to set up your mobile devices, like if you have a phone and you want to set up your, you want to connect your mobile devices to this server, you can do that. This, like I said, it has a lot of functionality. I'm not going to go through that. This stuff, I'm just clicking OK on it. I'm just moving away from that kind of stuff. So the first thing you should do is to create a user. For anything, just like, you know, VPN stuff, you need to create an admin user in the beginning, right? So dcon 123. And okay, so we created a user, but look on the left side. If you go back here, so what we have done right now, we have created a virtual hub. I could have named this marketing. I could have named this sales. I could have named this USA. I could have named this India. I could have named this whatever. And I can create multiple virtual hubs, and I can create the whole world, and I can separate them out if I want to do that. I can say that VPN can access certain area of this server. I can say sales can access certain areas, but that's a little advanced, right? We will get into this later on when you guys say, okay, I want to make this business more, expand it more. We're gonna do that. So what is happening right now? When we did this whole thing right now, what is this server doing right now? Anybody?
Having a VPN, because we could connect to that and have
it's
that
listening.
network.
It's listening, right?
Yes, listening, yeah.
We have opened up this server to the world right now that I'm listening on these ports and authenticate with me. If you are Dcon and you have the same password, I'll give you an IP address. But right now the IP address is not gonna, it's gonna work or not gonna work. We have done this yesterday, so we can test it again. So the first thing we need to do is to now we have set up our domain controller on the cloud. We have set up a VPN server on the cloud, so we are ready. We are gonna basically now turn on this machine. You're gonna do all the image stuff. You're gonna put your stuff on it. Applications and everything is done on it. Now this machine is ready to go, but I don't wanna give it out yet. I wanna join this machine to what?
Domain?
To the domain. So the first thing we need to do, guys, what do we need to do over here on this machine for this to work? Now, this is totally outside of our network. This is not like inside the network, so it doesn't know anything about that server. So what do we need to do?
To connect to the VPN.
To connect to the VPN, what do we need for that?
Client application.
Client. Yep. So let's go to the Firefox and download the client. And at the end, everything will make so much sense to you guys, and you guys will love it, because I feel like you guys will find out so many things that you have already learned, and then you were like, oh, okay, now I can really do even more stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So soft Ethernet, or in your case, any Connect, or whatever it is, whatever you use, it's going to be almost the same type of process. Soft Ethernet download. I have problem typing things, guys.
Well, can we use, for example, like the already existing one in Windows?
Yes,
Will
you
it
can.
work? Okay.
Yes, you can, but the problem with that is that it may not have the features that we're looking for, and I'll show it to you right now.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very powerful VPN, open source VPN, that you can connect any device so far, Linux, Mac, anything. Oh, you know, okay, I went to a wrong place. Bad example. You don't just click on things that just sounds just look the same. All right, guys. How do you join an existing 80 users to the newly created VPN? Let's talk about this. This is a little different project right now. So we want to do one project first, right? Cloud, connect a local to the cloud, right? Later on, we can do the on-premises 80 and cloud people joining it, right? So download soft Ethernet VPN. We're gonna click on this, and so I need what? I need to download a client, right? But if I was gonna create the domain controller from scratch and the VPN server from scratch, what would I need? I would need a server.
Yeah, okay.
But remember, we used that image, so we saved that time. The servers was already in there, so we have done that. Here we need client, and then I need to pick Windows, and I need to click on soft VPN client right here. So I'm gonna click on save right now. So that's downloading right now. Hey, FaZe, what's up, man? How are you? Man, FaZe, you shouldn't be taking notes. You should be here in the live training right now. You have a lot of knowledge, 12 years of knowledge, man. Come on in. You should be giving us some knowledge, you know? So here you have to run this client. And this is going to get very interesting in a few minutes if we can make it, though. Remember, I have not passed through this area yet. One time I did it in my lab, and it was like, okay, great, I did it. But now, since everybody's watching, the whole world is watching, it may not work. So I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I want a Pinot.
This is how it works, right? We're going to have to click on next. And right now, we're creating a VPN on this machine, the client. We're running that on this machine. So remember, I am totally local, and this is totally disconnected from the cloud, right? That's something we confirmed that, right? This is a cloud server and has total different IP address, 10.00 something something, right? Here, this one has a total different IP address, 198.168 whatever, right? So we're gonna finish this, and now we need to create a profile in the VPN. So we're gonna click on new VPN connection. We're gonna click yes. So guys, what should I pick right here? What should I type right here? It's gonna take a minute for it to create right now. So I'm gonna ask you guys, I'm gonna test you guys now, okay? So guys, we have created our first, oh, did it work? Why didn't it come up? Am I too impatient? Why? Oh, come on. Oh, let's do it again. I think I need now. Oh, there you go. Sorry, I was getting a little bit ahead of my own game, you know. So here, so VPN. We're gonna name this settings of VPN, and this also have Kevin ability to you can export this whole configuration what we are doing right now, and you can even with the username and password, and you can give it to a user, and if they double click on that configuration without they getting the admin password, they will get connected, which is pretty cool. You can even deploy this to machines right there. So what do we need to put in here, guys? What is the host name over here? What's the host name in the server? Can anybody tell me?
Yeah, the one what is on VPN server, what we use. Yeah,
JS demo 3.
There you go. We're gonna have to use that. We're gonna go back to here, JSS demo 3. JSS demo 3 dot soft ether.net. You got to use the virtual hub name correctly for this laptop. Let's say this is my Canadian laptop, and I say that this is gonna be, they're gonna be using VPN name. So what do I need to put in here? I'm gonna have to use the same name, right? Like, where do I want to connect this to? This guy right here. This is a virtual hub right here, right?
Yeah, same name. Yeah.
So I'm gonna use the same name. So if I come to my local machine and I put the username and password. So again, guys, this is where we could have used an Active Directory as well, but we're not going that advanced yet, right? We're just doing the basic stuff. So here. What do we do? Connect, right? So what's wrong over here? Anybody? This seems like a fingers mistake. Password, yeah. So when you see this username and password, at this moment, it's connecting, or else you would get a different error. It's already asking for a username and password. So I can basically go back to my server and I can verify it by coming to my Dcon username and password. I can click on edit and I can make sure that, let me make sure if my password is correct. And where did you guys learn this type of technique before? To make sure you go back where to fix things?
Active Directory.
Active Directory, perfect. You see, the same methods apply everywhere. If you have a password issue, go back to the source. So here we are going back to the source. I know without me guessing 10 million times, I can just go back and fix it. But by the way, you don't do that with user. Like if user is having issue, you don't just go there and reset their password, right? You don't just go without telling them. You gotta let them try a little bit, okay? All right, so let's go back to our local host and try it again. Oh, what am I doing? Something is wrong. Oh no, it was my fingers. My fingers are getting fat. It's like I'm doing like that. All right, so guys, what is it doing right now?
Setting up the IP address.
Yeah.
It is asking for an IP address, but at this moment, we have not told our device to give out IP addresses, right? It got connected, but it got a wrong IP address. But for this, you can go back to our last session because we don't want to spend another 30 minutes on this, by the way. We have done this, but we don't want to spend this kind of time right now. So if you don't understand this part, I have done this, but I'm going to fix this. So I'm going to show you how to fix it, basically, okay? So here. But what you need to do, you need to go back to, and for this kind of stuff, just imagine I'm a sysadmin and I'm gonna fix things and you assign this ticket to me, and whatever you see right now, forget about it, don't even think about it, okay? Just do it as I'm doing it. So you're double clicking on this VPN and you're gonna enable a what? Virtual NAT and a DHCP server. You're gonna click on what?
Enable.
So as soon as you enable that, it will create this address, networking address for this virtual hub. And that virtual hub address start from 10 to what?
200.
200, perfect. So now if I go back, guys, let's go back to the local machines. I have to do first what? Disconnected.
Okay.
And reconnected. So what happened now?
We got the IP address.
We got the IP address, perfect. But am I gonna be able to join this machine to the domain now? What do you guys think?
Yeah.
We can check.
So. You need to check it first.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to check it.
So can we ping that machine by the name now?
I think so.
Wait, was it demo DC? Is that the name? Yeah. So look what happened now. What is the first thing that we are understanding right here?
Firewall settings, I think.
Look, the first thing is that we got connected.
Yes, found it.
A response.
Yeah.
We did the same process before VPN, and there was no way it could find that name out there, right?
Yeah.
Now it can find the name, but the problem is that the IP address and the network that it's running from is a total different network. So there's too many blockage in the middle. Like it doesn't know where to go right now. It's not even firewall right now. It just doesn't know where to go. So for this situation, what do we need to do right now? We can even make it more automated, but for now, what do we need to do for it to talk to the for it to talk to a domain controller? You guys have done this in a training, by the way.
Change the DNS.
Change the DNS. Who was that? Sorry.
Leila.
Leila. You got a gift right there.
Yay.
So there you go. The first thing we need to do is we need to change the DNS. But which DNS are we talking about, Leila? All right, let's go ahead and find out which.
You have to go to the network sharing, right?
No. We are already in the network right now. This is okay. Let's see. It's connected here or here.
It's a VPN client.
VPN client. So what do we need to put in the VPN client? DNS information of that domain, right?
Yeah.
But if we want to join that to the domain right now, how do we join it? We're gonna go to system.
That's right.
We're gonna go where?
System info.
System info. We're gonna do what?
Change settings.
Yes. Then?
And we're gonna change,
Domain?
Yeah, we're gonna put the domain name.
Can I just do this?
No, we need to type full.
Yeah, and depends. I mean, but
Yeah.
full is always preferred. So guys, what happened?
So Active Directory. So we need to give the IP address, DNS server. Yeah.
If you do the details, look at this. It's telling you that I'm having issue with the DNS, right? So if I go back in here now, which DNS do I need to put it in? In VPN, right?
Yeah.
Go and do that. So see, it's becoming more interesting to what you have learned already, right? So it's more, like I said, that's why when you do these things, it just teaches you so much that there's no limit to it. So right click, go to properties, and how do I change this stuff? Again, this is an interview question. This is a perfect interview question. How do you change? There you go. Okay.
IPv4. Yeah. Properties. Yeah.
Okay.
So we click use the following DNS. Yeah. Open the server.
So what do I need to put in here? How do you find that? Can we find it by
VPN?
Just going to like here, and maybe I can just ping it, right? Yeah, I can just ping it. Demo.
Okay.
DC. If I ping it, will I get the IP address, by the way?
No.
No.
Why not? Why not?
IP config, I think that's where you get it.
No. Look at carefully. Attention to detail. Now, this is another thing that I teach people. Attention to detail. Look at there. Is there IP address?
10.0.0.10.
10.0.0. Yeah.
So see, Gigi, even if you're in the network and you ping a machine, you're in that network. It knows the IP address of that. When you ping that, it will give you that IP address. Okay.
Okay.
But sometimes what happens if you ping a machine, it will give you IPv6 address. So then you have to type more to it, IPv4 or v4, right? What's that command, Nick? Do you know? Sorry, Kevin, do you know? It's like IP config, man, ping dash
space slash all.
No, that's not all. It's such an easy thing. I always forget it. You have to use IPv4 or v4 or something like this. I forgot. We can always Google it. So yeah, it doesn't come to my mind right now. So if you type the v4 or IPv4, it will give you that. If somebody who's listening to us in a live chat can help us too. So as soon as you do that, it's going to give you the IPv4 address, and then you can put that in. Okay?
Okay.
And now, what do I need to put in here, Gigi? 10 dot?
0.0.10.
Dot what?
I think
it was
1.
1 or 10.
It can be 1.
10 maybe. 10.
The other way you can do this by NS lookup, but for that you need
10.
pretty good solid DNS thing running. So that's probably going to be another option, another thing you guys can use, 10.0.10. And here we're just going to use a Google DNS just for fun purposes, just so we don't have any internet issues or whatever. I'm just kind of like playing around. So what do we,
Danish, you put,
You forgot to add the 0.
yeah, you put the wrong DNS.
did I?
IPv4.
Oh, you guys are awesome. What else we would be like, man, we failed again. Forget it. This project failed.
I guess we need to connect again.
Yeah. You don't need to just get disconnect from once you add a DNS and once you do the apply thing, it immediately take over.
Mm-hmm.
But what we need to disconnect, by the way, is not that. For example, if I still do a domain connection, it's still not going to work because the VPN has to still go back and talk to that through this DNS now, right?
Mhm.
So I'm going to disconnect it and reconnect it again. The first thing you want to find out, does it work? It works,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Now, this is the moment of finding out if this project is really successful, because I don't know. Like I told you guys, it's live. I have no clue if it's going to work. It works. And if we can go move forward, fine. We're going to do this. Okay, let's do this. How many people think it's going to work?
We believe in you, Danish.
I believe in being like that, man. I know I'm your instructor, but I'm not like I told you, I'm not a master whiz or some kind of master over here. I don't know that.
So go Danish, go Danish.
Oh no, this is bad.
It's not.
Okay, guys, what's going on over here? Okay, so what are we missing here? We can go back and look for firewall issue, because this seems to be now relating to some kind of firewall stuff, right? Oh, you know what? No, demo DC is our name, right? Demo DC is fine. No, that's fine. Not missing anything. Why is this not working? This should be working. So we are definitely missing something here.
Yeah, I think it's firewall too.
I have a feeling too, but let's see.
You gotta allow the ports probably.
The ports this is already configured that way. The ports are all open, so it's any for all. So right now we have okay, let's see. The firewall can be a big thing for us, right? So we're gonna turn this off. Okay, so now let's go back. And where are we? We're gonna go to local. No. So we're missing something. I'm definitely missing something in here because that's
That the right domain name? Double check.
Oh, you know what? No, it should be good. Look, it's getting the right IP address, but we can confirm it. Let's go back in here. Domain. Let's go to the networking and find out what do we have here. So you see, Kev, it is the right IP address. Oh, you know what? You know what? You know what? We are still forgetting. We haven't used for pinging. You know what? No. Let's go back. Let's go back. I feel like I know the answer, but maybe I might be wrong or I might be right. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's go back to which port we have. And you may be right. It's a port issue then. I feel like it's a port issue.
It's a port issue.
It's a port issue, right? Yep. You're right. So, go to system info. So how many of you guys think that it's going to work?
Well, I have faith. After fixing it, it should work.
No, this should be very quick. God, what am I missing? My mind is not working right now. Something is missing definitely. Anyone online? It's still it's still showing a we're having an issue with the DNS records. So what the heck?
You have do you have DNS and DHCP configured on the server? On your server?
No. You know what? Here's another thing that we may be missing here, guys.
Domain name.
Demo DC 0. Demo
Uh-huh.
DC 0.
I feel like that's what it is.
Yeah, nope.
No. Hold on. Let's configure. Okay, how do you guys find that NetBIOS name again? Where do I go? You guys, this in the training, guys. You should know where should I go and find that 0 address?
We'll go to our domain controller.
You go to your domain controller. You go to connect. You click on RDP. You go in and log in. Let's go ahead and log in. So right now with this account, of course, this is a domain controller account. So before, when we were logging into this domain, look at this right here. demo.dc.jobskillshare.org. Right? So that's number one. Let's keep that in your mind, that the whole domain name is the domain, still, I mean, it should work. Something is missing. My mind is not working right now. I feel like there's something definitely I'm not doing correctly. I probably screwed it up when I put this whole 0 in there, right? Welcome to IT, guys.
Now we need to figure out what is wrong.
And I swear to God, probably I thought I might have figured it out, but
it could take an hour, 2 hours.
Who's messaging? Guys, hold on. Okay, I gotta focus right here, because if I look into messaging, I'll lose my focus.
Is there anything being blocked in that server? Just wondering.
In that local server?
Yeah, in this server, is there anything being blocked in this server?
Not really, because the thing is this, shouldn't be.
Okay.
Because when we turn off the firewall on, and the connection that it makes to the domain controller, all of these ports are on. So even if ping is not working, we don't care about that. If it can talk to the RDP, it's working. It has to use the LDAP ports, and then it has to use the connection ports. So those are all open right now. So I don't know what else is missing here. So for the NetBIOS stuff right here, guys, if you guys go to properties, it's what demo DC 0. So we already put that in there. That's not the case right here. Okay. We can also check the local machine, by the way. What if local has things blocked, you know?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
That shouldn't be the case. I mean, usually local, we use an image, and that's not usually, yeah, it's not, it's off. So one other thing that I am thinking, did we put this correctly here?
Oh, you want to check the network settings? Check the network settings. Something's off with the network settings.
Something is off. That's what I'm thinking too, you know, because that's where it says DNS. And why is it doing that DNS? Usually that's not the case. It's the same shit.
Check IPv6, just in case. Nothing there. All right.
Okay. 10.0.0.10. That's the correct IP address, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if it's not using this. So
check that one just in case too. Yeah.
Let's put it in here too. I never did this before, but maybe that may be also a reason. So I don't know.
Could be.
It's already connected to that VPN, so I'm not sure. I mean, if I've done this last lab like this, I haven't gone this far, by the way.
Yeah, and just disconnect and reconnect to the VPN and try again.
Yeah, let's go ahead and disable all these adapters too, you know? And let's go ahead and connect.
And re-enable and try to connect again.
Yeah. I need to now
Connect back to VPN.
connect to VPN.
Yep. Nope.
No, it's timing out. What's up, guys? All right, so what we can do right now, what I can do basically, I can check the logs right now. The next thing is to check the security logs. I can check the firewall logs in that. Of course, it's going to take even more and more time. We cannot spend our time like this. I have to find a solution. So yesterday, I also got stuck over here, by the way. And I thought that I figured it out. But something is definitely crooked in here, that it works for me at some point and it doesn't work. So I'm missing something. Because while I'm talking, of course, I'm live and I'm trying to, like, probably I missed something in there. So to fix this, maybe I'll have to find a solution and then maybe I can come back to it. So anybody wants to take over while I kind of quickly zoom in through some of the logs and everything? Kev, do you want to take over?
Sure.
All right. Guys, you can ask him some career-related question and let me see if I can figure this out. And if
I
not,
want to ask some questions to Kev.
let me stop sharing this so I can do it a little bit faster, okay?
You guys want to ask me anything? Vlad, did you fix your resume?
Yeah, I fixed my resume.
Okay, good.
I changed it.
Good.
I already sent it to the few companies, even
Good.
if they didn't actually post anything new, but to the old companies.
I created a video where I talk about adding skills, like how do you add your skills on your resume? Because a lot of people under skills they would put things that are not related to IT. So you have to keep in mind.
Yeah, I already deleted that part too.
Yeah, you wanna keep that in mind. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Kev, this is good. How are you?
Good.
This is Rahul. I have some questions. Like right now, I'm applying for the help desk level 1 job as a sport or anything. So, what are the basic interview questions like according to you? They can throw at me, like what type of the technical questions for the level 1 job help desk?
So with me, like I do soft skill questions, but I also do technical questions. And typically when I do technical questions, it's more like little easy things like how do you do a password reset? Like can you walk me through like how do you do a password reset? If someone's locked out of their account, how would you reset someone's password? If their password, say for example, my password expired today, how would you do it? How would you reset my password? Where would you go to reset the password? Something like that. That would be like one of my questions because it's all level 1. And then another issue would be like, it's all user based. So like, for example, like someone has an issue with Outlook. They open Outlook and Outlook keeps crashing. What would be the first thing you do to troubleshoot that if someone's having an issue with Outlook? That's another question I would ask someone if I'm doing a job interview with them. Those because I am in charge of hiring people in our Dallas office. I'm not from Dallas. I'm from New York, but when we start asking like they ask little questions like little questions and then they throw me at the person and then when I start interviewing them it's more in depth. Like I'll give you like scenario based type questions, like things that could actually happen in real life. Like I'll give you another example, like a user in the market data team, he's trying to open an Excel file and the file was too big and it keeps crashing every time he opens it. What will be the first thing you do to troubleshoot that issue? Something like that. That's another question I would ask you. Or another question is, a user's having an issue where their computer keeps restarting over and over again. How would you troubleshoot that issue? It just keeps restarting. They turn the computer on, they can't even log in. It restarts. They turn it on again, it restarts again.
Okay.
Like how would you these are the questions I would ask, and it's more like analytical thinking. I want to see how you think. I want to see how you think outside the box. So that's the reason why I would ask questions like that.
So what would be the best answer for this question? Like if it restarts again.
So that's typically an issue with it could be software or hardware related.
Yeah. Okay.
So I would want to see what you say to me. Like if a computer keeps restarting over and over again, that's typically an issue with the hard drive, or it's a memory issue. Yeah. So if someone's having an issue where the computer restarts over and over again, that's typically a hardware issue or memory issue, or that's an issue with software. So they're having an issue with the operating system. So it keeps restarting because the operating system is messed up. So, those are the answers I would want someone to give me. I wouldn't want someone to tell me I would just give them a new computer.
So
doesn't work
right now I'm thinking like during my CompTIA practice, I study somewhere like if computer restarts again and again, there could be a heating issue too.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, exactly. Like
a hardware issue, like you told me before, like a hardware issue.
Yeah, exactly. So like you don't know, like that question is kind of hard to answer, and it's not meant for you to give me the right answer. It's meant to see how you think. That's why I ask you that.
Okay.
Question. It's not meant to. There's no such thing as a right answer. It's for me to see how you think. So if you give me a generic answer like change the memory and stuff like that, then I know that you know what you're talking about. Obviously, if you give me an answer like I'm going to give you a new computer, that doesn't really do anything. Like that's not how you resolve that issue. So.
All right, guys. Are you guys there?
Kev.
Yeah, no problem.
Are you guys there?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back. Having a live issue, and then you have to wear your a sysadmin cap for this to work. Then that's a different thing, then, right? So what happened? You guys have an issue right now, and then you, as a technician, came over here. And then we were fixing it, and I became a technician for a little bit, and then I forgot everything, right? So here's the thing. You couldn't solve this, right? I mean, this is something that we all came across, and okay, now my mind is not working. I'm doing live session, everything. Now I'm fixing. I feel like there's something missing in here. That doesn't make sense for us that we are even putting a DNS out there. But why is this DNS not talking to my server? But remember, we're trying to connect to a different DNS right now. We're trying to connect this whole machine to where? We're picking it up and putting it somewhere else, right? So that somewhere else needs to know about this name right here. So where would this fall under? Like if you go to a company right now and you take a laptop right there and you open it up and you try to join this machine, this laptop inside the company, what happens automatically first? When you say that I'm gonna join this machine to this, let's say Laptop Canada, to my domain controller, what happens in that domain controller?
IP address.
IP is near. It gets what?
It gets whole configurations, I guess.
It gets added to the DNS automatically because a company have designed their network that way, because their DHCP, their Active Directory, everything is coming in their same network. So they don't need to do all this stuff that we're doing, by the way. You don't do this in the company, right? But our problem is this, that this person is sitting in Canada. How can he just join to my domain in Azure? He got to do something with his DNS, right? So the first thing was that we had to put that DNS IP address in the NIC for it to talk to the domain, but still our domain was confused. Or like, you were connecting to me with a IP address 192.168 while I have 10.0.0 addresses. What are you talking about, man? Who are you? So what do I need to do as a sysadmin? Then of course this is a typical sysadmin job right here. I as a sysadmin went to where to add this. What is this, guys?
DNS server.
Have you want to say something?
Yeah, it says you gotta. There's a trusted zone, and there's also there's a trusted zone, and also you gotta go to the DNS. You have to create you have to allow it. Basically, it just doesn't work that way. Yeah, because it knew we pinged it. It knew that I knock, I'm there. I can see you, but it was not opening a door because I don't even know you, dude. You're not even a part of my home right here. You gotta be in my home first for you to get into this, right? So I had to come over here and add this A record. And in this A record, remember, I need to put that laptopcanada.demo.dc. Then as soon as you type laptop, you see how it's changing on the bottom? Guys, are you watching this? This is a pretty golden troubleshooting that's happening live right now. I did not basically thought of this stuff. Honestly, I'm not testing you guys. This is something I'm on live, kind of like going through myself. And I'm like, I don't have hair, so I couldn't take my hair out.
but at least it's something that you're definitely going to come across.
Yeah, I forgot about that too, actually, because there you have to allow it. There's forward zones, there's trusted zones, there's reverse zones, and you have to actually allow it on DNS. It just doesn't work that way.
If you look at it, this is a great example right here. Look, even though when you find a solution and you go back to the error, and Kev will start laughing too, it told us that record is missing almost. In that error, it's actually saying that, but because when you're doing multiple things, multitasking, most of the time we are like this. We spend a lot of time on things and we figure it out. Oh, okay. Next time, that's it. I know this. Next time I can do this. So you see now, if this ever to happen, and let's say I deploy the solution for 5 or 50 clients, do you think I'm going to ever forget this? So, I mean, for years, I will not forget it. And this is an example for you guys that we learn IT like this. So when you in the beginning will have trouble, in the beginning, you will not be able to solve issues like this, but you will find a solution. Then you keep doing that repetitively. That's why when Kevin picks up a call in his live session, that doesn't mean Kevin knew about those kind of calls right that day. It's just that he was so used to these calls most of the time that it's just second nature. Yeah, password reset. I can do this, right? Kevin's like that, right? But I'm sure if Kevin find a very unique call, this will be a different situation for him. He probably will wait a little bit, like, okay, it's something new, man. Yeah, I gotta hold on this. Let me call you guys a little bit back, so I can focus more. So that's what I did. I was like, let me get my focus back of what's going on. So look at the error. I was like, okay, that's simply telling me that you need to put a DNS right there. I don't know what you're talking about. So I went back, put the DNS, do the ping, boom, works.
I wanna add one thing about that is that's also something to note. That's like realistically, that's what happens when you're high levels of stress. You have high levels of stress, or you have something that happens and you don't know how to figure it out. You want to take a step back and put the person on hold, or tell them that I'm gonna get right back to you. Just don't do it on the spot. Have some sort of expectation for them. And try to troubleshoot it, because when you do stress, you forget.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, Kevin, can you take over so I can focus? Perfect example. To be honest, this is the live on the money example right now. Okay, so now guys, tell me, is it gonna work or not? Now, is it gonna work or not?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so let's go and try it now. System. Who was that? Like, you're sure? I mean, are you really sure about this stuff? This is
It's live, right?
All right, let's go back here. Let's go to change, and we're gonna use demo dc.jobskillshare.org, and boom, look at that. When you see the screen, every technician gets happy.
Release.
Because I know I am way further right now. I know I'm near my mission. My mission is this now. What do I need to put? Okay, do I have to use my local admin password over here, or what do I need to use over here?
Computer name and your
domain, the administrator password.
Domain administrator password. You gotta have domain admin rights, or at least some level of rights in an Active Directory that lets you add it to domain. Most of the help desk guys, to be honest, I worked in an environment are domain admin. Most of them, because you work on so many different things that you just have to. I think Kevin can also verify that.
Yeah, unless they don't trust you, which I don't know why they wouldn't.
But unless you are also working in a very big security environment.
Yeah.
They have then levels right now. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we're gonna add the password. Now, if I remember the password as well, right? This is another. This is a human issue. This is a human problem right here. Oh.
Oh, it's not 1, 2, 3.
This is my mistake, guys. I use so many different passwords. I am for sure. Okay, I'm having this issue. I cannot fix it. Where do I fix this? What just happened? Did it just go through? Hell? No, I didn't. Okay, where do I fix this issue right now? Where can I just make sure that this is something I don't remember my password? Where can I fix it?
Well, I guess you need to change your password.
Where?
Active
Directory.
Say it. Active Directory. That's Kevin is doing this too, because when you say Active Directory term in the interview or in your technical interview, to be honest, people are gonna just close that into your thing. Okay. If you say change your password, but where, right? Are you talking about computer management? Are you talking about what are we talking about here, right? So we're gonna go to computer. Where do I go? Users.
Yep.
In computers, and I'm gonna find that user who is right here, Decon, right? This guy is a domain admin. How do you guys verify that he's a domain admin?
So we can right click.
We just need to change his group.
Properties.
What's his number? Oh.
Number of, yeah.
Perfect. He's more than a domain admin. God damn, he's an enterprise admin. All right. So now I'm gonna go here and go back to our local machine and then do what? We're gonna do job or demo. Demo. Got jobskillshare.org and Decon, and then after that. Ash says that
welcome.
Lessons in IT, read the error thoroughly, and I agree with that, and that's what we did. We did read it, but the problem was that we were involved in so many multi-thing that right now our mind was not working at that time, and it's normal. We do this, right? This is a normal part of our way of doing IT. That's how we learn.
That's actually on a job. So if you go to the job description, when you apply for an entry-level job, it says pay attention to detail. That's actually a job description when you apply for a job in IT, just so you know.
So now, guys, what happened here? We have achieved something that usually you won't see in most of the business environment. You kind of now know that, wow, this laptop is now being managed, but here's another problem. What if, is it fast enough to actually work? Because that's the main thing, right? You give this laptop and you let this person join into this laptop. The most common thing that we do in IT, we tell them to log into this laptop before you leave the building. For what is the reason behind that?
We can check the
it's not like fast enough.
You wanna, because when a computer is docked inside the office like this and they log into their machines, remember they're in a local network, so they can connect to their Active Directory without any problem, right?
Yeah.
Authenticate even a new password with no problems. But as soon as they take that laptop out of their business, remember they're no longer connected to that local Active Directory. So there's a problem with this method. Kevin, I think probably you have seen this.
You can log in.
Yes, VPN, but the problem is, let's say they don't have the VPN right now. They're not using VPN. What if people are not using VPN, or most of the people don't use it that way, by the way? They have a docked machine, a laptop, they take it out, they go home, and then they come back. But in the home, it works. Why does it work, by the way, in the home too?
Because it can verify you?
Because
this server.
Let me tell you, because that password is synced.
Okay.
And Kevin did this, that means I'm correct, right?
Yep, you are correct. You have to make sure the password is cached on the computer.
Okay. So that's where this person is saying, dude, you're in Canada. I'm giving you this laptop in Canada. You're not going to bring this laptop again to me to sync it back for you. This is a problem right now, right? So in Azure and using the VPN method, I was able to solve this solution. Now, I'm not saying that I solved it. It's just that how it came out to be. And I'm thinking, wow, this is a great solution. So Faiz, you're saying that you want to make sure, but you're relying on a human being right here. You're relying on a human being. So what if you do this and the password get expired the next day, and then all of a sudden the person have issues now? Now that person has to bring their laptop back to you, or else it's not going to work.
That's the reason why if you, and this comes back to being a good tech. So that's the reason why you want to test everything before they leave. You go up to them and you have them log into the laptop. You have them test everything, because then you're probably never going to see them again after that. They're going to be out of the country.
But the thing is this, Kevin, we are also saying that you are saying that there has to be a good tech, right? How many people can guarantee on that?
That's true.
There's no guarantee. So there's an issue with this method, right? And that's a big issue, because this laptop will not give you an expired option if it's cached. It won't do that. It will just give you error.
Yeah. Well, so in this case, we need to give them a.
So in this case, this problem can be solved in our scenario. When we give this laptop up, we are relying on what right now?
Local address, like local username. I guess we need to give them.
Remember, I don't want to go through. Look, if you want to become a proper IT person, you have to forget the local stuff, because local stuff has nothing to do with most of the IT people. Like, you can use it for recovery, you can use it for basic type of troubleshootings, and yes, at the end, you can last resort is local. But what if you have 5,000 or 500 laptops in Canada, and you everybody's remoting in, and you can never do that local kind of stuff for 500 laptops like that, right? You'll probably leave your job. So here's a solution with this specific VPN, and other VPN can do it, but I found it very, very hard to do that. In any Connect, you don't have that kind of option. You have to actually trick the system to do these kind of things. In this, I have a solution for this. I'll show it to you right now. So the first thing, I want to show you one thing. This laptop is external, right? It's going, I'm restarting this machine right now. So it's joined to my what? To my Azure in the cloud. How do you confirm that? The first thing is confirmation, right? How do you confirm that? Anyone?
Well, you'll see like the domain name / and
no, on Active Directory, it'll be a computer actually, and it'll show up on Active Directory.
Here you go. So number one, we already know that our mission is accomplished in one way, that we can now give this laptop with full management. This means if I don't want to give that local username password, I don't want to. And I don't want to do that. That's a security issue, right? Why would I do that? I don't want to do that. I want to give this laptop right now with that username and password. And now at least I know I have a full control over this laptop. So the second thing is right now, after restarting that machine, this is where the test comes in, Kevin, and you're going to like this one right here. So if I start that machine right now, and let's say this laptop has to be used by 2 technicians, one in the morning, one at night. But the second one got hired after this laptop was out of my building. What do I do now?
Interesting question. So you need to join, I guess, to go to
it's already joined to the domain. So what do you do now? Normally, what do you?
You just need to go to users and add this technician, I guess.
You just need to add a new user, right? Just simple answer. So I'm going to add another, let's say KevTech. KevTech is our new tech person, and he has to do night shift. Sorry, Kev, you're going to do night, man. Sorry about that. So, okay, we're going to make it even more interesting. We're going to make sure that Kev has to also change the password too. Because I don't want to give KevTech a password that has no expiration or anything like that. I'm just going to give him so it's more secure. Let him pick his own password, right? That's how normally it's done in the company, right? You don't give one password, don't let it secure. For 90 days, they can use temp123 my company. You don't want to do that, right? So KevTech is added right now. Do you guys think that KevTech, oh man, it's still going to take some time right now. So do you guys think that KevTech is going to work on this machine right now?
Yeah.
Why did you say yeah with so much confidence, bro? Let me ask you this.
Well, we need to try.
Okay, good. Anybody in the chat, do you guys think it's going to work?
As a tech, he has to install the RSAT too?
No. There's nothing to do with the RSAT right now. We're not saying that KevTech is doing a management right here. Remember, right now is they just laptop for even for RSAT. That's a second story right there. That's like.
Well, yeah, but it needs to be connected to VPN, right?
Very good point right there. Very good point right there. So because we were relying on this solution, our solution was what? Our solution has to do with VPN. But here you go. You gotta answer right now. Not right now. JB says not right now. So if we open this machine right now, is it gonna work immediately? That's the main thing right now. You need to think about that. Look, in the company, normal company, you open a laptop when it's in the office, it's already LAN connected or Wi-Fi connected to the same network. So think about it. It already knows the domain. It already knows everything, right? How would this laptop know about my cloud infrastructure, which is totally in a different country right now?
Yes, interesting question. So how will fix it?
How to fix it? I don't think it's going to work without you connecting to the VPN first, right, Kev? It's not gonna know about the local IP addresses. It's not gonna know all that kind of stuff. Right now, it's just an empty machine. Like it's basically joined to a domain with the same username and password, but it doesn't know anything after this. So we're gonna have a problem right here.
So I guess first technician needs to like connect, and I could remotely connect to him and
I'll show you right now, because this will definitely throw some kind of issues right here. So maybe, why is this taking so long? I hate when this does this. Like maybe it's kind of like finding someone. Let's turn on another PC, and that's the beauty of these servers that we have, is that you can just spin up another machine quickly. And by the way, if people are listening to us, this is the type of servers we give to our members for 30 days. So then they can do the same kind of stuff and learn things with us. So guys, how can someone tell me that it is a work group machine or is it a domain? Come on, this should be a very piece of cake right now. If I do all control delete, anyone can anybody answer me? Is this a work group machine or is this a domain controller? Sorry, domain connected machine. Why am I saying domain controller?
No.
Why did you say
no?
Because
administrator and you don't have any slash.
Relax. We did all this process right now. You saw what happened. You got joined to the domain. So,
well, I guess other user.
I could have easily tested you by giving you a screen like this in front of you and say, hey, can you tell me, is this a machine joined to the work group? Is this a work group machine or joined to? So the first thing you should do is just click on other users and look on the bottom. What is?
Yeah.
Domain
you see
I see.
So right now, let's do a test. We added Kev Tech, right? This will be interesting. Because if I can solve this issue, and I think I should promote this and to a lot of companies, I'm like, guys, I solved your remote issues. Guys, use this kind of method. And you will have no more expiration issues. We'll have no more password reset issues, all that kind of stuff. We can get away with this stuff. But and companies are not going to go that far. That's why they have helped us, right? Unless some kind of magic happens and it works, and I'm like, oh, what the heck?
Yeah, it's magically connected to VPN.
Well, magically, it's not going to connect to the VPN. I mean, that's going to be just too much magic then. It also established trust between the end user and you. You want to make that it works before they. Blue Dream, I already showed that anybody who wants to join this session, you can go over here in our YouTube channel, Job Skills Share. I don't know why I put that. Job Skills Share. You put Job Skills Share like this, and then you go down and click on Community, and then click on this link right here, Zoom, and then you can be in this session with us. So anybody who's watching us, I welcome you to join. I don't know if this server is having issue, but either maybe this machine, but definitely this is not working. Because if it don't work, I feel like it would have been logged in by now.
It's not gonna work.
What's that, sorry?
I said it's not gonna work.
You can sign into a credential because your domain isn't available. Make sure your device is connected and no, there you go. So guys, what's the solution right here? Other problem that we may face is if this, did I change this password?
So last time we have a policy when you put the password, so you have to change the password.
No, that if that would have worked, then he would get a message that change your password.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But so we did the reason it didn't work because we didn't tell this machine. This is a pretty important thing right here. Right now, if this laptop would have gone out of our building, this would be a problem for us because we didn't tell this machine on a startup, connect the VPN before you even log into the profile. Does it make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
So this is where this solution can work if you already set up your VPN to connect to the domain controller ahead of you. You see what I'm saying? Like ahead of you logging in. Because a lot of people don't have that type of setup in their environments, right? So when they give out their laptops and they go out, they rely on what? Sync passwords, right, Kev?
Mm-hmm.
Here, if you have the VPN connected before the profile, before your computer gets on right now, and as soon as it turns on, before you get to the profile, it's already made the connection for you. Are you guys getting this point?
Yeah, it needs to be connected before you log in.
And then it will work. So let me show you. So right now, that test is there to show you that if I cannot get into this machine, and right now, let's say my trust relationship is not working, then I have to log in as a local admin to remove and fix it and all that kind of stuff. Or maybe I can just turn on the VPN to fix that. Another thing is to show you if another machine comes up, but I don't know why this is taking so long with this. This is a older ESXi that I'm using. Yeah, okay, I'll tell you what's going on with this, Kev. I'm using an 1809 version of Windows 10, and that has issues with vSphere. So the brand new users that are using my servers, they're using the latest one, 1909 or 1903. That doesn't have that issue. So anyone that's listening and they're using a vSphere, and if you want to use 1809, you're going to have a lot of issues, okay? So right now we definitely have some issues going on here. Oh, you know what? Let's go back to the admin. I had to wait for this. If I want to go back to the admin account, what do? I just go do other users and just go back to the admin account, right? Or I can use the machine name / administrator and then use username. There are other methods too. You can do that, but if you want to locally get into that, that's one way to do it, okay? Updates. There you go, guys. Typical stuff that we deal with on a daily basis, that when you try to do things, when you are calling a customer and you're like, hey, okay, wait, I'm doing something, and the customer start complaining that, hey, my computer is not coming up, I'm doing RDP, it's not working, and you're like, oh God, what's going on? And then it's basically the updates are not working, right? Yeah, there's something definitely with this machine that's definitely so this is not gonna work either. This is I know this is a different passwords and everything. So let's just move this. I'm gonna wait on this to fail and I'll come back to administrator and fix it. But anyway, still then we can just talk about other things. Anybody have a question online or anything? Kev, let's talk about your mentorship stuff. What are you doing for your mentorship? Like you said that you want to do some kind of
yeah, so I'm just gathering people next week basically, and then we're just gonna go over some stuff that they should know if they're trying to do a job interview. That's basically what I'm gonna go over. Like,
is this something that's gonna be on your YouTube, or is it gonna be like on Zoom?
It's gonna be on Zoom, and I'm after I finish recording it, and then after that I'll put it on YouTube. But it's gonna be a live session with me talking to 3, maybe 4 or 5 people, and just helping them with their just going over technical stuff. We're not gonna go over resumes. We're just gonna go over technical stuff that you should know and prepare for your job interview, basically. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, is this gonna be like some kind of registration form, or how are you gonna like? How are the people coming basically?
So I put it on my community chat, and I told them email me if you're interested, and then I'm gonna, based on the emails I get, I'm gonna put it together, and then we're gonna schedule a day and a time on Saturday to do it together.
So guys, if you guys are listening right here, there you go. I'm sure this type of mentorship program is very valuable. We do that all the time in our platform, and we do a full training. So something that we can also help you if once we know about what you're teaching here. So once we have a little bit of idea, then of course we can definitely help you with certain things. Maybe. I mean,
it will be like all questions that you'll probably be asking IT, and I'm gonna pretend I'm the manager, and I'm gonna pretend I'm asking you questions, and I want to see what your answer is when I ask you a question.
like mock interviews.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect, man.
With a bunch of people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something. It's unique, and not a lot of people will give you this stuff. So, guys, if you are listening, use that resource. It's just too valuable. I know this. I know the benefit of this. You definitely want to do that.
And it's gonna be a little different because it's gonna be like I'm gonna give you answers of how to answer the question, so you don't look like you're just answering a question with a dictionary. If that makes sense.
You're kind of like really testing them.
Yes.
Well, there'll be like fines and everything.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. No, no one's gonna get in trouble or anything. But I just want to see what their answers are.
Maybe Kevin can answer that question. What's the advantage of VMware ESXi Citrix? I'm not a big Citrix follower, so I don't know. I thought Windows Server has Hyper-V capability already. So maybe Citrix. What do you think about Citrix, Kev?
So in my last job, I was a junior sysadmin for a hedge fund, and we had that set up. We actually had VMware with Citrix, and actually it ran really well. The difference between that and Hyper-V, from my understanding, is Hyper-V, they had like an in-server premise with Hyper-V connected to it, and then depending on how big of resources you had on that server, it would lag like crazy on Hyper-V. Just letting you know. So that was my personal experience.
Yeah, I mean, Hyper-V is something that's going to be my last option if I ever had to use some virtualization. As you can see, why did we choose to give our members ESXi access? Because we want to use every bit of resource from that server. We don't want to be an operating system controlling another operating system, not like that, So
exactly. Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like our purpose of doing that. So, and ESXi is well known in the market. Probably in my own research, I think they are the top in virtualization, and then the rest of them comes after them. Hyper-V is not. I don't want to compare Hyper-V with ESXi and VMware products. You go to the offices, they're going to definitely use, even if it's a Microsoft shop, they're going to use VMware ESXi, vCenter, all that kind of stuff, and would have operating system running on it. Very few shops are going to be using Hyper-V for that.
But what is VMware Sapphire? vSapphire, as I remember, right?
What is what?
VMware vSapphire.
I'm not getting it.
Talking about the vCenter? Is that what you're talking about?
I guess so. I remember.
vCenter. vCenter is there. So vSphere ESXi is the one that you're seeing in front of you. This is free right here. So they give you certain license. So for example, I'll give you an example. I have a server that it has 2 CPUs, and let's say both are 12 cores. That's a very powerful server, right? So that's 24 cores right there. And if I have to give you a virtual machine, I can only give you an 8 vCPUs in one virtual machine. I cannot give you more than that. Now, the 24 physical cores are a lot of vCPUs, but still I'm limited to give you only 8. But when you go to the vCenter, then you, depending on what are you paying, there's different levels of licenses in the host also. Then you can maximize on that. And vCenter is a management of different ESXi. So for example, the server that you're seeing, I could have 50 servers or 20 servers or 10 or 2 or 3. I can manage that from vCenter. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good.
So right now, guys, what is our problem over here? What was our mistake? Look at this. Our VPN is already offline. So what I need to do right now, I need to connect this VPN. Connected, right? Done, right? So then I need to right click over here and look, this is the biggest thing in this whole thing, right? What am I telling this VPN to do?
Set a startup connection.
Add startup connection. This is the most important part of this lab right now. If you forget this, then you're going to have all that issue. And the reason I did that, because I know you're going to forget it and you're going to be like, this is not working for me. The reason that is that this is the part that we don't want to miss. So if you click OK, now it's going to use that admin password that I gave this person, and I can change it even from my server. It's connected right here now, right? It's done. So now what will happen if I restart this machine, which is probably going to take another 1,000,000 hours. So I don't know why I picked my oldest ESXi out of any other ESXi's. The reason for that is that maybe other members are using it, and I don't want to disconnect them, you know, like what are you doing in my server, you know? So by the way, guys, when we give people access in our environment, we give a direct IP address or a direct link address, and then they just get a username and password, and they get a full access to a host like this. So Vilad, here's your answer right here. I can only go max to this level for you right now. So for example, if I want to give somebody a ESXi in our training, they can only go max with 8 CPUs. And let me tell you, you will not be able to exhaust my CPUs in any of these labs. CPU is not the issue in virtualization. You know what's the issue in virtualization? Maybe Kev can answer that too.
Memory.
It's the memory and it's the storage as well. These two areas are the biggest bottleneck in virtualization. So you got to have that humongous RAM and nice amount of space for you to work on this stuff, okay?
Or
look at this.
You could put just 1 gig of RAM on it and just run it like that, you know, up to you.
Even if you have a 16 GB RAM, this is my battle with a lot of people, and maybe Kevin may disagree with me, but my battle with a lot of people is this, that we are telling people that you can get your own laptop, but most of the laptop people buy are 12 GB RAM, right? Normally. So when we tell them that put it on your laptop, put a virtual machine on your laptop, VBox on your laptop, the next day I got an email that, you know, you were doing the lab that you have doing deployments, you were doing Active Directory, and none of that stuff works in my laptop now. Because my laptop itself, I click on it and just hangs for next 30 minutes. I'm like, 12 GB is not going to cut it for our type of trainings, because we need more than that. And for that, you need to invest money. It's simple as that. You know, we don't want to give left and right thing. I'd say if you invest money, you're going to get something like this, or at least buy a bigger laptop. Buy a 32 GB RAM laptop, and that's good to go. But guys, what happened here? When we fixed the issue, look, it didn't even take 30 seconds. Kev, did you notice that? It was like that. So now if I go back and do Alt Control Delete, I don't want to sound like this is gonna work like right out of the bag, because it may not work. So Kev Tech. Okay, Kev, did you notice I have never logged in as you in this machine? So this is in Canada right now. This is where that solution is, right? You just joined in the Canada, you started working in the Canada, no syncing, nothing, and it's straight gonna go to the Active Directory, and let's see if it works. Guys. So what do you think about this, GevTech? Like this is something that I'm sure, I don't know if you have seen this for the first time or something, but when I did this lab, and I was like, man, this could solve freaking so many issues that we're having right now. And also from an infrastructure level, this is a solution, by the way, to people who want to totally put an Active Directory in a cloud. And now I have a total control, and I can add user instantly. I can lock them out instantly. I can deploy a group policy instantly. I can deploy an application instantly anywhere in the world without me having any building with me. Does that make sense to you guys? So after that, of course, if this is working, we know that without no syncing, nothing, everything is working. So this opens up. So of course, our lab is done right here. And we don't want to go further than that. Why? Because the rest is everything that you learn inside the domain. So this opens opportunities right now. I can have a next file server right here, and KevTech is listening to me. He can correct me with things. I can have a file server right here. I can have a print server right here. I can do anything I want to over here, and all of these machines are going to be able to connect back over there. So what I mean by file server, this means I can have a storage in my cloud, and they can map to it without using a local password or nothing like that. Everything will be smooth. So that's how we do it, guys. This is one of the labs that I wanted to share with a lot of people, and this should open up too many things for you. So you should start thinking
Yeah.
about too many things right now, right from your home. And another thing I want to talk to people is that it opens an opportunity for you guys. If you have a local machines in your home, or you have a 30 GB machine in your home, you don't have to pay Microsoft for that compute power. That can be, you can practice. You can only have one domain controller running on Microsoft, use 2 GB, and you use like 30 GB hard disk, and connect everything back to your home. And now you can use all that compute power right from that Active Directory. Of course, this is not a best example, but what I'm saying is just use your mind after this, right? You can do anything. And I'm not even worried right now. I can restart this machine 10 million times and I will have it connected to a domain. Where will we have issues? If we lose connections with the VPN. There you go, guys. Any questions from YouTube? Danish said something about Hyper-V is controlling OS. I'm a little confused on that. Okay, so Hyper-V is running on top of operating system. So you install a 2019 Windows Server, and then you have to enable Hyper-V feature on top of that. So it's like a software on top, software running on an operating system. And if you really want to learn this stuff, let me show you something. I have covered this in very good detail. So go to playlist, and in the playlist, guys, if you guys are interested in virtualization, I don't think you're going to find more practical example than this one right here. Look at this one. Virtualization training entry level 1, Hyper-V 2, create VM, then VMware. And this, I am actually showing you a full server and explaining how Hyper-V is installed and how it's on top of the server and how VMware is using every single bit of the device. So I did a very detailed stuff over there. So, and this is a part of our training. When somebody finishes our training, they have to go through these videos because they got to understand the network and the infrastructure. So if you want to learn about this, whoever asked this question, Vinju, this playlist is for you. And Hyper-V is right there. So guys, I think I'm done. I talked a lot for today as well, but this lab is so practical that I feel like too many things should start popping up in your head right now, and that should be a very good thing for you guys. What do you guys think about this lab, by the way?
Well, that was the perfect one. Now we could create a lab as like by ourselves.
Ev, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say that this is actually a job interview question. So now if someone was to ask you, how do you add a computer to a domain, you should know how to answer it. If someone was to ask you, what is DNS or talk about VPN, you know how to answer it. So like, actually, you know how to answer 5 to 10 different questions based on what we did today. And you know how to explain it to a manager.
Look, we had trouble. We had issues with the pinging. We had issues with commands. If someone could say, give me an example of, have you ever done like a troubleshooting with ping? And you can actually use this example. To be honest, use this example. Why? Because you're talking IT right now. Right, Kev? Like you would throw something IT to impress somebody, right? You don't want to just say I was pinging a machine, it didn't come up, but then it's like, which machine? You want to give some story with it, right?
Yeah, when you do it, so in a job interview, if you want to like make yourself unique to someone else, you tell a story. Tell a story. So it makes you unique. But also now you could explain to the manager or the director, you know, what exactly it is and you know how it works, and now you have an understanding of it instead of you saying, oh yeah, I just pinged it, or I just went on a domain, and they don't even know what you're talking about, you know.
And at the end, and guys, if you guys are brand new and you guys are like, man, you guys talk too much gibberish, I didn't get it, then we got a solution for you, but you got to pay for it, right? You have to take the instructor-led MISP training. And if you look on the bottom right here, I, first of all, will have to tell you with very big warning to watch this video. Don't just pay for the money and then, oh my God, this is different training than I was expecting. This video has step-by-step information. And this is our roadmap for what we teach in the beginning. Step 1, step 2 in phase 1 is the one that what I did today. is exactly how you're going to learn about Active Directory hands-on. That's for 30 days, not live. We don't teach people for live 30 days. I'll die probably. If I teach like this, I will die. I'm not joking. I'm saying this live right now. If I teach anybody 30 days like this, I guarantee you coronavirus may not kill me, but me talking and like this will kill me. So we teach for 5 days, just like this. We have people right here live. I mean, I cannot even lie right now. They can even say something and it'll be recorded right now. And they are my students, right? Rahal have done this, right? Rahal, Leila, you have done it. So many people have done it. They can verify this stuff. So phase 1, we go over live stuff. And then of course, after that, we give you labs. We give you so many different things that is a part of that. And then without that, it's hard, but it's doable. And don't think that you really need this type of training to land a job. There you go. Kev is there. Kev is not my student. He's a professional. He's an IT professional. He's not my student. He's basically collaborating with me right now. He has his own mentorship. And even if you go his route, you may be able to land a job. But this information is more like you got resources. That's what all we are saying, that you got multiple resources to use and advance your career, land bigger level jobs very quickly. This is something that we missed in our life. I can guarantee you, I would be making the same money 5 years ago or 6 years ago if somebody would have taught me this way, right? That's something that's not hidden. Everybody will tell you the same thing. So any last questions before we turn off this one?
Yeah. Yeah, I have. So we're talking about Microsoft Azure today, but I guess it's same procedure for the Amazon Web Services.
Yeah, definitely. Amazon, Amazon the same way. If you have to go to the Amazon, you have to deploy the same Active Directory. It will work the same way. But again, remember that security has to go through from their infrastructure. So if our local environment couldn't connect to that environment in AWS, you got to know how to then open up ports. Here, we made it easy, right? We went for a template that has all the ports open already for you. If I would have to teach you that stuff, we will not be here sitting here for we will be sitting here for like another 15 days just to talk about that. That's not, so just try to understand that, because the purpose of this training is not for you to go back and redo my lab again, right? The purpose of this training is to touch so many different areas to open up your mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the purpose of this video, because this lab for you guys is too advanced. And Kev can even verify this lab overall is not something you will be touching like this. The only pieces that you're going to be touching, joining to a domain, pinging the machines, that's it. You're not going to be doing Active Directory. You're not going to be doing a server. You're not going to be doing most of these things. But by looking at this whole picture now, to be honest, tomorrow when you deal with your stuff, it's going to look like a piece of cake to you. All right?
Yep.
All right, guys, so this is going to be on YouTube as well. Next live session, I don't know. I might be taking a break after this, to be honest. I did this like a regular, like the reason of this, we're doing this so much right now is because of this whole situation. And I need to, like, I cannot focus right now. Other things, I'm like cleaning every table right now, every mic, every glass right now. So right now, this is helping me in that sense, but maybe I'll get busy. KevTech might take over most of the sessions after this. I'll be just sitting there like a duck, you know. So just thank you so much for spending that kind of time with us too. It's definitely, I appreciate that with you guys too, that you guys sitting with us and spending that kind of time. People who are on the live chat, I also appreciate you guys. You guys were there for most of the time. And KevTech, especially our VIP, always thank you so much, brother. I mean, you being here with us is a valuable stuff for us as well, because everybody have questions and you answer these questions. So I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart that you are here and helping people out. Thank you so much, brother.
Well, thank you too for having me here. I greatly appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Danish.
All right,
Thank
take care, guys. I'm gonna stop this session,
Yeah.
and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye.